All right, there we are. Check it. Yeah, okay. Yep, quick check. Everything's up. We're good.
I am live. It's July 29th of 2024. We're still alive.
Yes, we are.
For now.
We are now in the surpassed the old podcast numbers range.
Yeah.
Episode range. So
I know, right?
there you go. So get your fucking.
It's weird.
Get your confetti out in your.
It's weird.
Streamer celebration noises. What? I don't know. Whatever. Hey, there it is. Look at that.
It's like I find myself looking back on like time, and I'm like, oh, this amount of time is actually the same as this other amount of time from a different part of my life. But they don't feel like they're the same. Like high school feels like it was twice as long as college, even though they were actually the same length of time.
So the real, like, I mean, I'm sure everyone experiences this at some point, but it's for me, it's the moment of like the last 10 years of like just doing this shit, or whatever, however things have been going from the PS3 360 era. That's not 10 years.
Oh, you mean those retro consoles?
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, it's not even. It's Xbox One and PS4.
12 years.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So that last decade, think of the first 10 years of your life and how much shit happened and how
lots of stuff happened.
Fast life occurred and how they're so dense and it felt so long and everything was forever. And yeah, it's not discussed until later, I suppose, when you realize that it's not just moving forward in time, it's the timeline zooming out and the details getting smaller, right?
So there's a reason for that.
Half the life you've lived is the entirety of the life you've lived now times
right,
two.
Yeah.
And
like each individual year represents a smaller totality. I'm having that very, 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 very strongly this week, because as of this past week, I have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Which I was talking to Paige about this. It doesn't feel like it's been a year since the baby was born. It feels like a year since she got pregnant. And when the baby was born, it didn't feel like she had been pregnant for 9 months. It felt like she'd been pregnant for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
And that advancing speed is gonna get wild. Well, hey, happy birthday to kid. Yeah.
He had a birthday cake, and he got a piece of a brownie, and we gave him cow milk on his birthday, because they can't have sugar, they can't have cow milk, they can't have honey, etc., until they're a year old.
Okay.
And then a year old, you can load that shit with sugar as much as you want. You shouldn't. It's bad.
Well, but
you could.
Do you then cut to the Requiem for a Dream, eye dilation, blood flow, sugar?
He was actually pretty chill, considering he ate like 4 mouthfuls of a carrot cake and like a big mouthful of a brownie.
Okay.
Like we didn't encounter like sugar baby, like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, although funny enough, like that's how sugar reacts to me now. Having it be gone from the system when I get some more. If I take a sip of like something that's not diet, for example, and you immediately taste it and you're like, oh, whoa, wait, what the fuck is happening here? Gah.
I've been drinking nothing but Diet Coke for a while, and I had a regular Coke, and I was like, this feels
weird.
Like this feels too much.
It's so strong. It's so incredibly strong. Yeah. And like seconds later, you start to feel your brain and body and like everything starting to react to it. And it's like, I don't know how you tanked this.
And I mean, too much.
Well, the answer was like your body had addiction, and it was just hitting
now,
zero.
some people will tell you addiction is bad, but those people aren't drinking enough caffeine.
Oh, fuck.
I say, as I should mention, before we started, I was like, hey, Wooly, I have like a debilitating migraine right now. I'm super sick. I might throw up on the floor. And you were like, do you want to cancel? And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, you know what's being great? Being addicted to caffeine.
Sip that fucking energy drink. There you go.
So here's the worst part is, caffeine for migraine sufferers is either a trigger or a solution.
Interesting.
The acetaminophen tablets that have codeine in them also have a nice helping of caffeine in them.
Wow.
Because it can decrease your migraine symptoms.
All right, you hear that, gamers? Your fuel can solve the problem. If
I
not
also
after
found out
creating it.
just what it takes to die from caffeine overdose. There's no known recorded cases of it happening via drunk caffeine. There's plenty of it happening via pill form caffeine.
Okay.
It's truckers who are popping caffeine pills.
Yeah.
And pep pills.
Yeah.
And those pills are like 20 cups of coffee.
Yeah. I had a brief stint during my QA days.
You took caffeine pills?
So I was taking, I was getting my coffee every morning at work, and my friend was like, hey, you know, like it was legitimately, it was like, yo, I'm dying at my desk right now. I can't stay awake. I'm literally like passing out, and I don't want to get, you know, dragged into a meeting and get in trouble for like fucking not being attentive, because that happens. So I'm like, this coffee ain't cutting it, and I can't get to an energy drink anytime soon. And she's like, I got these, you know, and it's like, how much is that? And it's like, that's 2 cups of coffee. And it's like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And I did it. And I was like, wow, yeah, that solved the problem. And that was, and like, you know, for a regular period of time, yeah, she was regularly taking those as like just instead of a cup of coffee, essentially. And for me, it was like, if it hits that post lunch, I'm fading out, and I'm dying at my desk moment, I'm gonna go get one of these to solve the problem.
Like, the problem with those has always been like, it takes me at least a half hour to drink this can, but you could take as many of those pills as you want, in as many shots as you could.
And for in general, my cup of coffee issue had, like, I know the whole point is it's a slow cup, it's hot, you sip it, but I hate that. I like colder drinks because I want to drink it faster. I want to, you know, my whole point is I'm trying to get awake here. I'm not trying to fucking sit there and you know, smell the roses. If you know, that's a different type of situation. But yeah, no, they work really well, if not all too well. And that had to stop. That definitely was like, okay, enough of that. That was Dire Straits only. And you know, thankfully not being in the worst of the worst in QA situations did alleviate that problem. It wasn't even getting out of QA, it was going from the outsourcing to Squeenix, where it was like, okay, now if I'm feeling tired, I'm allowed to get up, take a walk, go get a drink, go outside, do whatever, and like clear my head and then come back to work and not get fucking whipped over it. So that fixed that.
Are you familiar with the caffeine 1 hour trick?
What's that?
So I was reading about this fairly recently, and so the way that caffeine works is that it binds to your adenosine receptors, and adenosine is the chemical that goes, you're sleepy now. So it blocks the channel for that. But the trick is that your adenosine naturally dissipates approximately 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes after you've woken up. So if you wake up and within 10 minutes pound a monster, the instant that caffeine's adenosine blocking properties wear off, all that shit from this morning is still floating right there, and you will crash super hard. So you have to let it filter out naturally until you're in that state of not bleary-eyed zombie person, but like, I am awake, I'm just tired. And then it will block that until the next batch of adenosine later on in the day.
Huh, interesting.
That's part of the reason why you're supposed to sip your coffee, because the act of making the coffee to the end of a coffee would probably be like 45 minutes.
So you time it out. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Interesting. I mean, the other thing the kids are doing is you can always microdose a mushroom.
You
And,
could do a lot of things,
and that can energize you like a cup of coffee, as the metric is told. If you need a little piece of that.
Microdosing seems like the most. Microdosing literally anything seems like the most you're kidding yourself shit in the world, because it's like once you're doing it as a daily habit, like there's only the smidgen of the smidgen of a choice between what if I just macrodosed it though.
Well, it's the idea of like I need a little pick me up right here, right? It's like that's a bump. That's literally that's how it all starts, you know. It's just like just a little pick me up. I don't need the full thing. We're not trying to go have a night on the town. I just need to make it to lunch. You know.
I think the phrase "I just need to make it to lunch" is very dire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, the phrase "tied me over" is also like.
What'd you get up to?
This past week, the main thing is I've been playing more Dishonored 2. That game's incredible. In particular, I made it to the famous level, the Clockwork Mansion, which I only got to start, but had one of my favorite externalized knowledge moments into a game. Like, I just happen to know the obscure factoid that the level designer put into the game that caused me to understand what was going on.
Nice.
So the Clockwork Dungeon in Dishonored, it's an immersive sim level where you're stealthing through and dealing with guards, but the level itself transforms, and the walls move around and rooms switch positions. It's that kind of thing.
Okay. Like Doctor Strange shit, like as you're watching it happen.
But it's all mechanical.
Cool.
Right? And so the very first thing that happens is you walk through the door and you pull a lever, and the room that you're in transforms into a grand foyer, and then the level is changed and will change around whatnot. And you have to be stealthing through this area that is like moving around and pieces are shifting. It's really cool. But right before I walked into the room, I looked down at the floor, and the floor has an incredibly specific cross-hatch wooden square block pattern for the floor. And I looked at it and I was like, that looks just like the Nightingale hallway from out in Japan. The wooden boards with the nails underneath the creak.
From Osaka Castle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't step into the room, and I shot out a window, and then tethered myself and jumped through the window.
Interesting.
And ended up in an alternate version of the level, which is the untransformed level, in which you are going through the back rooms and the underneath like machinery of the whole thing, and you're passing into rooms that haven't been set up correctly because there's no guest.
Okay, so if you stepped into that room, it would have set off the alarm and made the noises.
No, you step in that room and you pull a lever, and the big fancy thing happens, and the whole level orients itself a certain way. But instead, by doing this, you can essentially be trudging through the back rooms and service alleys and maintenance corridors instead. It's so goddamn impressive.
But either
cool.
path is a form of progression.
Yeah, and also by doing so, you don't alert anyone in the level to your presence at all, because no one's turning anything on and nothing's moving around.
So for those who don't know, my recollection of this might not be 100% accurate, but essentially in Osaka Castle, there's floors and rooms specifically around the the upper levels where the nobles and everyone stay, and it's meant to creak so that you can't sneak and assassins can't really snoop around and take anybody out without letting out huge creaking wooden noises that alert everybody to their presence.
It sounds like nightingales. Sounds like birds chirping.
Yeah. So there's a treatment of the wood and the nails underneath that is a specific thing to make it as noisy as possible.
So the only thing I'll correct you on that is that is not Osaka Castle.
Oh.
Though you did see it because it's near Osaka. It's in Kyoto.
Okay.
It's Nijo Castle.
Okay.
Because Osaka Castle, you wouldn't even be able to tell because the amount of tourists flopping around in there.
Sure.
So yeah, Dishonored 2 is wildly impressive. I also just completely gave up and have just started massacring every level. Everyone who can ever see me will die. And that's fun. Of note is that game has one of the best amounts of replay value I've ever seen in this genre, because in the original Dishonored and a lot of these games, it's like, did you go lethal or not? Right? And then the visuality is like, did you get seen? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Not like how much did you get seen. It's like, did anyone even see you ever once?
Is it clearly is it made clear what the alert variables are? Because I have a thing where it's like, okay, if a game needs stealth in it, like, you have to learn the game's rules, and it's like, did the developer decide that in this game it's all about footstep speed, or is it about crouching state? Or is it about
clear
visual, or is it about, light and dark? Like, every game will pick a bunch of different things arbitrarily, and you never know which one of these things actually affects stealth.
So it is it's very clear. So you make noise, and noise causes people to come investigate. However, the "Hey, I saw that" prompt is a little exclamation point or a little squiggle above a person's head that fills in it's a completely empty black punctuation, and then it fills in with white, and then it hits the top, and the whole thing goes red and goes, "Hey,
yeah, okay,
I see you."
The classic, yeah, tenchu shit.
And that counts as being seen. It also counts bodies found,
right?
That kind of thing. But in Dishonored 2, instead of it being pass fail, it is a 4-point grid, and it is lethality to non-lethality and quietness to loudness. Okay. So you can go fully non-lethal, super loud,
yeah.
Everybody saw you, but you just happened to knock them out or escape from them.
Yeah, okay.
Or there's also, no one ever saw you because you killed them,
everybody.
and no one that ever saw you ever knew you were there.
Max stealth is not the same as max lethal.
And there are variations of so there's that for the different play styles. The levels are complicated. You have two protagonists that have different sets of powers. So you have Corvo from the first game that has all the powers that he had the first time, and then you have Emily, which is the new character that has a completely different set of powers. On top of that, you have the ability to reject powers as part of your playthrough. Like when you were offered powers in the tutorial, it's like, do you want to do teleporting time stop shit? You can go, no.
And what do you get?
No, thank you. And the levels are designed to be beaten without any external magic nonsense.
Is there something you get for denying it, or it's just for your own sake? Okay, for yourself. Yeah.
But like cool. more and more, like it's mainly so that the temptation is gone. So that when you're 4 levels in and you'd be like, oh, I don't care about this run anymore. I'm gonna teleport up there. It's like, no, you chose a no power run. You're gonna do it with no power.
Okay.
On top of that, there's New Game Plus, where you get to keep all the shit you had before. And on top of that, there's a form of New Game Plus where you not only get to keep all the powers from your last run, you can pick a different character and still keep the other character's old powers and have both sets.
Cool.
So you can have like a tether or domino, which links people together, with time stop, with blink, with like...
And I'm also seeing
whatever the fuck.
And you can customize difficulty elements as well and toggle things on and off.
Yeah, it has a custom difficulty that will let you switch between like
rad.
like 100 different factors that are like, how alert are guards to sound? How alert are guards to sight?
Yeah.
Are they dumb but super lethal? Kind of thing.
I mean, it's always going to be the shining example I go to, but Way of the Passive Fist, where difficulty is determined by like 5 sliders, is just, it's just awesome to be able to give you that level of like tweaking how
So
you
I think
want
the
it to
funny
feel.
thing is that I never, ever tweak any of those sliders in any game I play. But what I do like is seeing that those sliders exist and how they change between different difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a big fan of like, let's say you play XCOM, and I wish this was surfaced. Like the funniest thing to me is that XCOM's most difficult difficulty just stops juicing the stats in your favor. Like that's it.
It just gives you real numbers.
It's just like the numbers you see are the numbers that are real, and it stops juicing it for you.
And that's hard enough.
And that's the hardest. Like holy shit, because statistics aren't fair.
So because you played Dishonored 1 and you didn't play 2 until now, have you played all the games that have come afterwards?
Yeah, I played everything around it.
That is right. And so are you getting a bit of that like late to RE4 feeling, you know, of like okay.
No, that game Dishonored 2 could have come out yesterday. Dishonored 2 feels more advanced visually and mechanically than Deathloop does.
Interesting. Okay. And that is and because I don't want anyone misinterpreting that, obviously I'm not saying that RE4 has aged poorly or anything like that. I'm just saying that playing it later and seeing everything that it was inspired by it after the fact was a trip, because I was like, "Oh my god, it was so much more instrumental than I thought it was." That's what I mean to say.
Like genuinely, Deathloop feels like the order that I played it feels like the correct order, in that like Dishonored 2 is probably the most complex and advanced out of all the games they ever made. There is one thing in it though that I do find really, really funny. So in Prey, the upgrade system in Prey was called neuromods. And you would find neuromods, and it would be like, oh, do you want to use 5 neuromods to let yourself hack doors or swing your wrench harder? You know, that kind of thing, right? To think your most obvious thing would be like plasmid upgrades in BioShock.
Sure.
Right? But at some point in Prey, you find design plans to manufacture neuromods in the crafting system. And so you go from 60 or 70 found neuromods to learning how to make the goddamn things. I made like 220. Like my character was high on neuromods, just drowning in neuromods.
Nowadays, when you say Prey, nobody's talking about the original Prey, right?
Never. No one is ever talking about that game.
Just clarifying. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. All right.
And Dishonored 2 has a version of that, where you have these passive little trinkets called bone charms. And there's one of your skill trees is that, hey, do you want to be able to pick the bone charms? Because they're randomized. There's little things like move faster when you carry a body, or regenerate mana when you're underwater. You know, very small little tweaks that you could otherwise, you know, go without, but they're nice. And this skill tree is like, well, you could craft them to your specification, or you can craft multiple of them of the same type and double up on the thing. So now you move fast as running when you're crouched, kind of, you know, little mechanical tweaks. And then the final thing is grind up all bone charms, and you can turn them into upgrade points for your other skills. And you're like, well, that costs 8 skill points. That's crazy. That's a ridiculous investment. It is not correctly balanced. You get so much more than 8 skill points out of it.
So are you able to max out, for example, non-lethal and lethal options entirely?
I don't think you're able to max it out, but in the regular course of the game, you can probably get about half of all the powers, and with crafting your own upgrade materials, you could probably get to like 75%, 80%.
That's not bad.
And become like wildly busted. And it's interesting because I don't think that was ever the intent. I think that was supposed to be a little bonus after you do the bone charm crafting system. But then they later took that idea and went crazy with it in Prey. They're like, fuck it. Making your own upgrade materials is fun. Just make level ups out of garbage. Fuck it.
And you can grab the specific like the specific things that it increases, like and build essentially the recipe for your like carry the body better like item or whatever the case is. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, no, that game's incredible. It feels like it came out like yesterday. I cannot like say that enough, that there is not even a single dated thing in it. Like it had like so much more care went into this than the stuff I'm usually playing, where you'll get like, you'll read a text, some piece of, some letter from someone to someone, typical text log in a game. And it has this enormous splash screen with like broken glass and like particle effects going on. And it's like kind of floating back and forth. And there are 5 different layers of parallax on this text, because there's the text, and then there's the parallax of the background, and then there's some parallax of the broken glass background underneath, and then there's the parallax of the particle effects as it very slightly moves back and forth 5 degrees to just make it more visually interesting to read. And then I flicked the analog stick and discovered that you can actually move it in any direction you want and just fuck with it like it's a collectible card in Marvel Snap or something.
Sounds like that can make you sick the way you're describing it.
Oh no, it's very clean and it's very minor. It's just very visually pleasant.
Okay. Did you know that if you're playing Balatro with the controller, you can use the stick to like move the camera around and stuff?
I did.
And if you hold the stick in to zoom in, it will just zoom in forever, because there is no upper limit on the zoom, nor is there an outer limit on the zoom out. So you can just zoom until all of the screen is 1 pixel.
I definitely did not know that.
It is a weird bug that they should probably fix by capping it at some point, but they currently do not. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you remember last week, apologies for people not viewing this at home, but you can look up pictures of the things I'm talking about. Last week, I talked about this little gizmo called the Backbone, which is for putting your phone in to play Zenless Zone Zero. I described it as turning your phone into a PlayStation Vita, like specifically the types of sticks and the clickiness. So I'm returning this to Amazon.
And why is that?
There is a identical cost replacement that looks like this thing.
Okay. That appears to be the same almost, except that there's a fixed size for the phone plate.
No fixed size.
Okay.
So this has a terrible name. Oh my God, what a terrible name.
Does that say Game Spy?
This is called the Game Sir G8.
Game Sir.
That's right. Like, hello, sir.
No. Why? Ew.
So the deal with this thing, and I'll hold up a PlayStation controller for you, is that this is a full-size controller. Unlike the Backbone, this is full-size buttons, full-size analog sticks.
Oh, the game was the Backbone was smaller than regular?
Yeah.
I see.
This thing is this thing is higher quality than an Xbox One controller.
Higher?
So, yes. So the triggers are the same as it would be on an Xbox controller. The bumpers are the same. The finger buttons are the same. The D-pad is a little clickier, but it's just as good. The analog sticks are Hall sensor analog sticks.
Okay. Are you getting... hold on. Are those rounded out buttons I'm seeing there?
Yeah, no, they're convex.
Okay.
They're not concave. This is basically a upgraded Xbox One controller with Hall effect sensors for the analog sticks. So that feel better than the Xbox's analog sticks.
More accurate sticks, no drift over time.
So instead of turning your phone into a Vita, this essentially turns it into like a would-be portable Xbox. I've been playing a lot of Zenless Zone Zero on this. It's excellent.
And there's a pass-through for charging?
Oh yeah, pass-through is on the bottom for charging.
Well,
so what you said last week stuck with me, which is like basically the regular controllers, the analog sticks and the buttons. And then someone pointed me to this thing, which is about as good as it could ever possibly get for moving on your phone.
It's just a very unfortunate name. That sounds
Terrible.
It sounds
Awful
like
name.
it's going to tell me I will get the Karkand. It's just.
Oh yeah, you will get the Karkand.
the game sir has assured me. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
with the phone in, it looks like this. It looks like a Switch, kind of.
Oh, that's pretty wide. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing it. I've been playing a lot of stuff on it. I've also been using something called Moonlight. I don't know if you've ever heard this. So Moonlight is an open source thing that basically hijacks the NVIDIA Shield technology and lets you NVIDIA Shield stream to your non-NVIDIA Shield. So NVIDIA Shield, the way it works is it mirrors your PC's output onto their Shield device, right? Moonshine lets you just hijack that.
Moonshine?
Yeah. No, sorry. Moonlight lets you hijack that and send it to any phone.
Oh, Apple devices included?
Yeah, you just have to. I don't know. You have to be able to install a sketchy app.
Yeah, probably not then. That sounds like a Android only situation.
So for example, I was playing FF14 on my phone in bed. I was playing Vampire Survivors. And what this game, sir, has allowed me to do is take everything on my PC as well as Zenless Zone Zero that would scorch my baby's corneas with high stimulant, baby ruining iPad kid behavior causing mental stimulation, and get it away from his face towards my phone where he can't see.
Yes, and again, the main plus there is being able to game at any angle while baby is asleep on you.
So people ask, why not the Steam Deck? So the fun thing is that my computer is much stronger than a Steam Deck. Me streaming from my PC to my couch via this actually looks and runs way better than anything ever did on the Steam Deck. Plus, it actually feels better to hold in the hand.
You can,
like, this feels like a controller.
You can boot games on the Steam Deck, or you can stream them from your desktop Steam account, though. So, admittedly, so you can pick and choose. Like, if a game needs or runs better by streaming it, you can do that with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again though, because I don't have to play at like odd angles, I'd still prefer to just connect with an official controller. Like that.
Absolutely. I'm like, this isn't a sell point, but I do think that this is like a cool gizmo for the specific purposes playing Zenless Zone Zero in bed.
But that is your,
because you got to get your dailies out, bro.
Now is this the end of the potential alternatives? Is the game?
Oh, I'm pretty sure this is the end. Yeah. Okay. This is definitely,
I guess, the
end.
Well, the Backbone just had much better marketing then, because that's the only one I had heard of. You know.
Yeah. The other thing is that Moonlight is, so Steam Link and Moonlight are the same thing basically. Moonlight is just using NVIDIA's Shield tech instead of Steam's. It's way better. It looks better. It runs better. It has less latency.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, from doing the Steam one, I've tried it out a bit, and it's like I wouldn't use it for anything that was like an action game or so, but for card games or anything turn-based, it works fine. You know, as long as you're like,
I can get Meletro on my phone with this.
There you go. There's your solution. Yes.
Yeah.
Steam Deck version, again, touchscreen though. Touchscreen to just slide shit along and play with that or the controls at the same time are a pretty fucking awesome fix for it.
Oh yeah, so the point of somebody reminded me, the point that I was like, is this good enough, was that I used the game, sir, to play Street Fighter 6 matches in bed, and I won some of my diamond matches. So that's definitely good enough. And yes, Willie, I'm doubling up on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi's not enough. I have to broadcast the picture elsewhere.
We live in another world, man. Like, oh my god. Streaming the Wi-Fi footage to your phone from the Wi-Fi connected console to play your ranked matches. All right, okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
Listen, hey, no, here's I won more of those matches than I lost.
I mean, how does the other person on the other end feel though? Like, there's
so
a lot.
If it was any other fighting game than Street Fighter 6, we might be having a different conversation. Street Fighter 6's netcode is extraordinarily robust in terms of all kinds of shenanigans. Also, people are pointing out GIF on Wi-Fi. No, I'm playing nearly exclusively M. Bison. And I'm able to do streaming this thing with Moonlight from my downstairs computer over Wi-Fi. Street Fighter 6's netcode is good enough that I can react to punish counters with like EX scissors.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even. We're here. The tech is doing what it does, I guess, and you know, it's more important than ever that these matches that are gonna happen feel as not terrible as possible. I just look. I also in this same week there I saw folks describing the me getting in like the way that I get all draconian about Ethernet cables and shit. I'm like, okay, I can't. I'm not even going to get into this realm where it's like, yes, we live in a world where some people have their Wi-Fi only situations and you're gonna gatekeep and fuck you. This is why I hate that. Okay, all right, do it. Play the way you want. Go nuts if it's connecting. If it's great, that's cool. It is what it is. It's a losing battle. I just know that
I totally agree with you. I personally completely agree with you all the way up to Street Fighter 6 because Street Fighter 6 has such good netcode that the problem is the whole discussion is now split in two. There's the old version of the discussion for every fighting game that isn't Street Fighter 6. And then there's the Street Fighter 6 version of the conversation, which is who cares? The netcode is so good.
I can yes, it's better than it's ever been, and that's great that we live in that world. It's also nice that I can play matches that go overseas to the other side of the world and generally don't have to worry about this the way we used to. But it's just defeated at this point. I'm like, your dorm room Wi-Fi connections are just gonna make up a whole lot of what it is. So
we need.
I know that when I play a match and I feel hiccups and shit, that bothers me a lot. So I'm gonna do me, and y'all do whatever the fuck you want to do. And and if I can avoid getting bad matches, I'll do whatever I can to avoid those bad matches. But fucking have at it, go nuts, God bless. I can't, man. I'm not gonna be screamed at for people yelling at playing on.
You will.
Fucking horrible connections. Do your thing. Go nuts.
Well, no,
dude.
here's the thing. We need to take. Prior to this, we had all of our indignation split. Right. It was uncombined. We had 50% indignation to people who were playing with knowingly bad connections, who were making this situation worse. However, the reason why that situation was bad was the other 50%, which is, hey, developer of, let's say, Samurai Showdown, why did you release the game with bad internet? Right? And so the bad internet on the Sam Show makes Wi-Fi player situation a million times worse. And then they nice and feed into each other and everybody get mad. However, Street Fighter 6 has shown that if you make the netcode good enough, bad connections have to be really fucking bad for there to be any problems.
So I think, so yes, I see. The thing is, this is why we were screaming about rollback in the net place. If you're not going to fight against the occasional Wi-Fi player, why even bother screaming about rollback in the first place? And ultimately, this leads to, it's a very interesting discussion, right? Because to segue another place that's related here, for some folks, they had the CRT setups that were at Evo for playing Third Strike, and for some players, they're like, these setups are not perfect, right? They're not arcade perfect. It's still the little bit of different input that you feel there's still not going to be there. It needs to be 100% accuracy, right? And the better you get, the more reactive you are at these games and stuff, the higher your requirements are going to be. So all this is to say is that now that we get to this world where Wi-Fi connections and rollback can cover for a lot of bad connections and make matches feel better than they used to, matches that used to be unplayable become playable but rough. What was once playable but rough becomes playable, you know, and what was once playable becomes excellent, you know. So there's and so what you now hit is individual preferences / levels of what bothers you, because there were some people that were never bothered by characters teleporting. There were some people that were like, yeah, that's just the way the game works. It is what it is. And they've never cared about that, right? So we all get to now look at the individual part where you're like, how much does your game having an occasional moment like this or such bother you? And I can say for me, I want no hiccups. Like, I want my bar to be such that the game feels as close to an offline match as possible, right? But I'm coming from a world where offline matches were the only matches that mattered, right? The idea of playing online was like, okay, well, I guess I'll connect through Kylera, you know, or whatever other delay-based netcode system, and then we're going to have a fight. But for the most part, I'm like, this isn't real. None of this matters because I can't do what I usually would be able to do, you know? Chun-Li in Third Strike on Fightcade is like not top tier because you don't have the ability to react to things the way you otherwise could in an offline situation, you know? So yeah, all the, you know, if we hit these points and everyone's like limit for bullshit, tolerance for bullshit meter is different, rollback will make everyone have a better experience. But if my tolerance for bullshit meter is high enough, I'm still not going to enjoy my Wi-Fi based match when I see that indicator.
Well, here's the thing. I still totally agree with you, and my tolerance for bad netcode is similar to yours. I ran the matches that I ran on my phone in bed, far away from my PC via streaming. I turned my matchmaking system to worldwide and any connection. Just like hey, let's see. And I ran into 1 out of 10 matches that were noticeable. And the other 9 were like, they were like, if they were not offline, they were still excellent.
And it helps if when the game is designed so that like you are used to basically when a delay is baked in some way where you're used to like tapping the button and then getting the response within a certain time frame. If you don't have a different version of that offline from online, right? If you're playing online and then you have your delay set to like a couple frames, and then you're essentially playing a slightly slower but still accurate version of the game. Like there's never any moment where it's inconsistent, but you just have to get used to timing things a little bit differently. That feels weird, and that makes things like charge characters get buffed or nerfed according to the response of how quickly you're inputting based on what you see on the screen, right?
Yeah, I think Street Fighter 6 is going to be like the high bar for a while. Maybe 2XKO has the potential to have really excellent rollback because I mean it's by the rollback inventors.
Yes, but there is just a nature to Wi-Fi in general, where even with strong Wi-Fi connections, there's always going to be an inconsistency to packet delivery that will factor in, because some people will be in environments where like there's more noise, there's other Wi-Fi signals, there's other things in the way, and you know, with the best Wi-Fi tech, you still have these things that are going to degrade the quality in a way that like you can't account for that same router in a cabin in the woods somewhere, you know, giving you a completely different connection, right? And so that's a part of it as well, where it's like you have a setup and you've done the test and described that. I just know that the dorm room version of that is going to still experience probably way more drops.
In playing, I've been playing with like any connection for a while because I just want the fastest match as possible. and Street Fighter 6 has a very interesting solution to really bad connections. So in my experience is your match is either completely fine, no notes, maybe there's a little hiccup here or there, maybe a little time, but when it is bad, only one of a few things will happen.
Hold start.
The by far most common thing that will happen is that your match will just die. You'll get like half a round in and the match will just die. It's not them skipping, it's like you'll just lose the connection due to packet loss. Right? And then the other thing that can happen is much rarer, but the match turns into complete nonsense. It turns into the rollback. Like I'm talking like 300 plus MS plus Wi-Fi on both ends. Like the teleporting packet loss shit show. And then it will die. Like I've never been able to complete a match that is falling to pieces.
I mean, I just hope that enough people out there are willing to do the no contest option, you know, when things do start to fall apart, but the game doesn't drop you.
So what's funny is that on matches that were bad, but like playable bad, no one's ever done the no contest with me. We always make it to the end of the match and then just don't rematch because we're like, well, that was a
there is that. I do, but I give it a shot. I give it a shot whenever I can, you know. But like, I'm not gonna. Like, there's a moment to back off and hold start, and if the person doesn't back off, then yeah, then it is what it is.
But yeah, I advise people to test out Moonlight on their telephones. It's very impressive. It's significantly better than Steam Link's option, but it is harder to install. Like I had to open ports to get it to recognize my computer, that kind of thing.
Oh god, yeah. The Strive has the new 3v3 mode, which has 6 people all connected to each other. And yeah, I don't know what that beta was like. I saw a bit of footage of it, but holy fuck, one person can drag that down, and now I can't even imagine how awful.
So I don't know. I didn't see any footage of it, but like with how long it takes to get into a match in Strive, I can like, what is it like sitting there for 4.5 minutes as it loads in every character and it slows down on the
boot up
on
screen?
the bird flying.
Oh, that's not, so. The actual loading in. Yeah. It takes a sec. But like, I mean, that aside, there's the other things with that mode where it's like, hey, everyone shares a life bar, so it's not like a full team 3v3 thing. It's just pure wacky bullshit. People can jump in and extend things in ways that are just completely busted and bullshit. So it's just all for fun. It is not at all supposed to be any kind of, you know, 3v3 for real serious thing. But yeah, and also as well, like people can join with the same character. So I saw like a screenshot of just like you had one job and it's like 3 Nago Ryukis and the names are 3 Nagos. And then the last one's fucking, and it's like, oh god, you're supposed to, that the order was supposed to be different there. Yeah, but anyways, I would that is the true test of like your rollback is like a more than 1v1 situation.
Yeah.
You know, Multiversus of course had that, and what was that other? There was another game as well that was like using some rollback based shit in a 4-player or more context. Anyway, yeah, all right. God bless. Go nuts. Have fun. And shout outs.
It's good stuff. You should try it.
Shout outs to the Log Cabin FGC.
You should try it.
If you're out there in the woods, running your cable, do your thing. You're champions, all of you.
The other thing of note is that Street Fighter 6 has the ability to see what kind of connection someone's on, and then back out if they don't like the connection that they see.
Oh yeah, if you don't accept every match.
I have found that it feels like almost everybody is accept every single match that comes in, because you'll match with somebody and it'll go matchmaking with the person, the little circle will go, and that's them deciding yes or no. Usually I just goes no, new challenger, go.
But like, I just think, I mean, it takes too long for the discerning after a certain amount of time. So I think a lot of people just set it to auto accept regardless. Cool. All right.
What else? Fallout London came out this week finally.
So what is that?
So Fallout London, I think we talked about it when it got like the release date announced or whatever. But it is a full total conversion of Fallout 4 to a completely brand new game called Fallout London, which is Fallout that takes place in jolly old London in England. And they got horribly fucked over by the Fallout like next gen upgrade that Bethesda put out that didn't do anything.
This is a mod.
Yeah.
This is an elaborate mod. This is not an official anything.
Highly elaborate mod.
Okay, that explains. I was like, how is there a new Fallout, but it's not like
because it's a mod.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yes.
So when that update happened, it broke 1 million of their things because they had all this custom shit.
I remember this discussion.
And so they got delayed, and their solution was twofold. One was GOG doesn't have the next gen update. So they partnered with GOG, and if you own Fallout 4 on GOG, you can just go and download Fallout London officially through GOG.
Wait, the modders partnered with Good Old Games.
Yes, here I'll
what the fuck?
GOG Fallout London. Here you go.
That's crazy.
You add it to your cart, but it's free. And then there's installation instructions, which are own Fallout 4 and install Fallout 4.
Is there any Bethesda feeling towards mods that would make that not
Bethesda
an okay move?
Requires you to make mods for their games. If Bethesda had a problem with mods, that company would be done.
Right, and then you mentioned that they also like then incorporate those later on as like the fixes for the better releases of their things. But then you get the mixed messaging of like rolling out an update that breaks all the mods.
Well, the right hand and the left hand.
So
of note is that Fallout 4 is on sale for like the next 6 months on GOG for 60-something% off. So you do that. So that on GOG, you literally, do you own Fallout 4? Yeah. Okay. Download Fallout London, turn off cloud saves, and click yes. And then Fallout London is there on your computer and it works. If you own the Steam version of Fallout 4, you need to download a downgrader, which will go into your Steam account and re-download an old version of Fallout 4. And I think it requires your fucking username and password and shit. I would not recommend playing Fallout London on Steam. I would recommend playing that on GOG. Because I was sitting there and I was getting my stream ready, and I got Fallout London working in 30 minutes on GOG. And I had a guy in chat, New Millennium, who was saying, there he is, that he had been spending the entire day trying to get it work on Steam and had thus far failed. So yeah, I would definitely recommend playing this on GOG.
I know that this is standard, right, for the Bethesda releases, and I would imagine as well a number of other companies that have like this kind of weird, it's not official, but it's accepted kind of relationship with like the modding community. I don't know. There's no things that I'm particular. I don't think there's any games I'm into where like the mods are like
transformative.
Where they're accepted somewhat in that way, because it's like when people are modding, any PC releases of fighting games or whatever, it's like that shit's not considered okay by the company or whatever. The weirdest things were like, again, that Capcom that Street Fighter versus Mega Man thing that was like, okay, we sanctioned this one release this one time. And then Sega, of course, has the whole Sages thing where they're like super on board with it, but they have a place for it, and that place is over here, right?
Yeah, these personal computer RPGs have tended to be extraordinarily forward with mod support.
Because the mods make the game better, and again, you can roll those back into the release like they did for DMC Devil May Cry later on and whatnot.
Well, a really good example is Larian, right? So Divinity and Baldur's Gate. So Divinity, there were they put out a mod kit, and there were a bunch of mods that were so popular that they spent the time to integrate them into the actual like game's release so that people on the Switch version could use them with crossplay.
Okay.
And so, the next Baldur's Gate patch is going to have a mod kit release.
So the thing with this type of relationship you're describing, like you said, the left hand and the right, it almost sounds like it makes me uneasy that there's a pseudo acceptance, because it almost sounds like, oh, maybe as long as this particular team has this particular group of people in charge of the game, they're okay with it. But the moment production comes down or someone else from the publishing side gets involved, they're not going to be okay with that side of it.
So
and
with
they'll
Bethesda,
do things like push out a version that kills an entire mod framework.
The way that Bethesda tends to do it is, guys, do whatever the hell you want. And then they ignore them forever, and then they just keep doing what they're doing. Like the Fallout Next Gen update was to coincide with the Fallout TV show because there was nothing else to coincide with the Fallout TV show.
Because then I'm also thinking of Souls games getting modded like to oblivion and back, and then you get bans because items that are fucked are getting dropped into people's inventories, and
which is really funny because there's a lot of really obvious ways to get around that, which is play offline and disable anti-cheat.
Sure, but I mean, clearly, like, there's an online connection issue and policy that they have in place to disrupt this type of thing. FromSoft is clearly not cool, you know, like with this entire endeavor.
Mods are so accepted, essential, and important to Bethesda's games and the games that use Bethesda's engine, that back when I first started modding Fallout New Vegas back in 2008 or 2009, whenever that was, 2011 maybe, I bought a lifetime subscription to the Nexus, which is the Nexus mod site. And the lifetime subscription is, you pay us $200 now, and you will always get the fastest download speeds off of everything off of this website. And let me fucking tell you, that shit has paid for itself, man.
Oh, really? Okay.
Holy hell.
Download speed throttling I have not seen that in fucking a long time. That I remember,
like, hey, I'm downloading fucking 100 gig texture pack for Skyrim. Do you want to download it at 15 kilobytes a second?
So
or 45 megabytes a second?
But it's not even about getting it really fast. It's about not getting it on like fucking GeoCity speeds. Right.
And the other thing is that I was actually really, really happy with the Nexus, and I really liked using their free service, and I thought that was a completely fair ask.
Okay. But yeah, there's something there, and I guess too as well, like the way this is being discussed now, like it's almost like Bethesda so then is kind of releasing with the expectation that, like, hey, instead of, oh, don't worry, we'll get that on our day one patch, it's like, oh, don't worry, the fans will get that early on enough.
Oh, dude.
Like, that sucks.
That has become a bad problem.
That's a
for
bad
Bethesda.
vibe. I don't like that. You know, oh, they'll take care of it. Don't worry.
You get the feeling with Starfield that was expected, and then it just didn't happen.
Right. Okay. The reception didn't go the way they thought. Things didn't blow up that way, so there isn't as much interest in fixing these problems to begin with. Yeah, there you go.
There are people who are spending more time modding Skyrim and Fallout now than
just going back
Starfield.
To it. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
But back to actually Fallout London itself. So Fallout London is a total conversion, and as such, it's a brand new game built on top of Fallout 4's guts. What you would usually expect from a total conversion mod of these types of things is you would expect a bunch of amateur voice actors and repurposed levels that had been rotated and, you know, maybe painted over to look a certain way.
Amateur voice actors like us in Skyrim.
Yeah. This feels like a real release.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This has dozens and dozens of really good voice actors. It has an enormous amount of bespoke, completely brand new assets and interesting locations. It's wildly impressive. It is more impressive than Starfield.
As a product.
Yes, as a product, especially considering it is free.
Okay.
It features Neil Newbon somewhere, haven't met him yet. It features former Speaker of the House in England as a robot with the former Speaker of the House's brain inside him.
Mm-hmm.
It is enormous. It's the same size as Fallout and all of its DLCs in terms of like space. I spent hours and hours and hours in it the other day and barely scratched the surface.
Was that the
of particular note is the dog meat is not there because dog meat is in America, right?
Do you know if that was the Speaker of the House that was like, "Order, sir, order"?
That's that guy. Yeah, it is that guy.
Cool. Okay.
John Burchow.
You're out of order, sir. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that guy.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. So there's no dog meat, but there is Churchill the Bulldog.
Okay.
Probably the best looking bulldog I've ever seen modeled in a game, and I would know. I have one right over there.
Good name.
Two things of note. Three things. One, the bulldog runs ahead of you. Like wherever you're pointing the camera and you start to move, the bulldog will like run ahead of you. Like to try and figure out where you're going, so they're not always behind you, right? This causes the bulldog to constantly get stuck somewhere, and like you to like get stuck on the bulldog, or if you were in real life, the bulldog. This is real. This is how bulldogs work.
Okay.
They will be under your feet. You will not see them, and you'll be like, "Why can't I move forward? What is this big heavy thing?" Oh, it's the bulldog. The second thing is that the dog's footsteps are like weirdly loud. They're like mixed really loud. So you always hear the dog plonking around. And I had people on my stream go, "Why is the dog's footsteps so loud?" That is also real. Bulldogs have weirdly, enormously loud footsteps. You can always hear them.
So that's an accurate thing.
That is extremely accurate. Crazy accurate. And the third one, which is the reason why dog meat is always played by a girl dog, is that this dog's just got balls hanging out at all times.
Okay.
Because you remember dogs used to have balls?
Yeah.
Back when we were younger, they would have them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't anymore. But they do here in London.
Speaking of plonking, is there proper amounts of sozzled bonking going on around in the...
I don't know what that means. I will say there's a lot of Britishisms that are really genuinely hilarious.
Well, that is basically the question, but yes.
The very first thing they give you is a ballad song. Like the first item you get to defend yourself is a stabbing knife. And if you stand around, your character has like a 45-second animation of them twirling it and doing ballad song shit.
Do you have to apply for a license for it at any point?
A TV license.
A license.
Yeah. There's a new monster faction called the Thames Folk.
Oh yeah.
Which are Innsmouthian fish freaks.
Nice. Good.
But the funniest thing
just
is
regular people who drink from the Thames.
So in Fallout 4 and 3, like the water is like radioactive. The Thames is an order of magnitude more radioactive than the ones in other games.
Yeah.
Like touching the Thames is bordering on instant death.
Oh shit. The great stink.
It's really good. It's really, really interesting.
Okay.
It has just the most work of any mod I think I've ever seen put into it. Like so Pip-Boy and Vault-Boy and all that stuff would all be American branded. So all that iconography has been replaced with a totally different aesthetic because of England. Like every single thing has like bespoke animations in this new kind of like white and black like British, like their own logo shit.
Right. No.
It's incredible. I advise anybody that has any interest to check it out. It is free. Even if you do have to buy Fallout 4 on GOG, it is like $20 then.
Now what's this about soccer balls?
So that was actually going to be so it's in England, right? It's in London.
It sure is.
And as a result, there's many footy balls hither and thither around, and one enterprising modder on the Nexus put up American modder put up on the Nexus a mod to change the name of football to soccer ball.
Oh wow.
And in the text of the mod it says in order to avoid potential confusion.
Right.
The last that I checked, that mod has 16 downloads. It has 32 endorsements, and it has over 18,000 comments in the notes section of that mod on the Nexus of people just losing their fucking minds.
I mean, if
just
this
going
is
completely batshit.
A classic American Krogan release, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Oh god,
it's so fucking
What about the voice
funny.
acting though? Do they do they insert like an audio line as well? Like
no, they don't.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
It's a soccer ball.
It's impossibly impressive. They've worked on this for 5 years. It's got a team of like over 50 people. So like it is a genuine real ass video game. I mean,
so to the point where when you just Google it, a page like the way it lays out everything, it looks like a release.
It look like it's
it looks like a real, like it says, like it looks like there's the screenshots of it. There's the main official website. There's a Google about page listed with all the platform and genre information, and then right underneath that is all the top stories of the articles currently on Kotaku and all these other places about the release. Like it's treated as a full game coming out.
Yeah. There are a couple. So even if you didn't know, say somebody you never heard of it, and they put it on your computer, and they're like, "Hey, there's a new Fallout game," and you're like, "Cool." There are a couple of hints that maybe it's a mod. And the number one hint that it is a mod is something that people just can't get away from. It's the nature of sending things back and forth in a non-centralized workforce, is the sound mixing on literally every single person's dialogue is inconsistent.
That sucks. Yeah, okay.
Some characters are just mixed super low. Some characters are mixed super high. Certain people on the radio are low. Certain songs on the radio are high.
Funny enough, early beta has that problem often, and that's just a matter of enough playtesters doing full runs and pointing out which characters sound unmixed properly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they had their QA team involved with something of this size, but it's just an exhaustive overhaul of like treating all sound to a proper final mix that might not have taken place here. Yeah. Okay.
The other thing is that as it is a Fallout 4 mod, it crashes.
Sweet.
A lot.
Because the bones are still what the bones are then.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know this about Fallout games,
Mm-hmm.
but they like to crash. So
Well,
I would advise. There's 2 mods. I can't remember the names.
I was gonna
of
say
them.
I'm sure there's modders that'll fix that alongside the sound
it's
mixing.
been done.
The modding will fix the mods then.
Oh, it's been done.
There's a mod
so
for
basically,
that.
there are 2 existing mods that exist for Fallout 4
There you go.
that you would be recommended to use as well. One is called Long Loading Fix, which is a fix for long load times. And the other is called Buff Out 4, which basically just cleans up a couple of engine functions and causes the game to crash a little less. These are things that you should probably use if you played Fallout 4 by itself.
Regardless. Yeah.
Because the game just wants to die. Like that, it's a shame, but these like I saw somebody do a long technical breakdown on Starfield and people going like, why do these games always fall apart? And somebody who knows a lot more than me basically went in and saw that like the reason why Bethesda games are always falling apart is because they have built them so that you can drag and drop files and anything that overwrites will just load in.
Okay.
So like the fact that you can just drop a mod in and shit will be different and that's it and it's done makes the real game hard to test and hard to fix. So they could clean it up dramatically, but then you wouldn't be able to mod it so easily.
Right. Optimization and locking things down is backseat to keeping it open. Yeah.
So like its greatest strength is its greatest weakness.
Mugen shit. Yes. Yeah. You can do anything you want with it, but that shit's gonna explode half the time. Okay.
So like Fallout 4 could have been like way smoother on launch, but then you never would have been able to get a Fallout London because it just never would have worked.
Now, didn't Fallout 1 and 2 allow you to kill NPCs that would ruin your save file entirely?
Oh fuck yeah, it did.
So is this just the next step?
Fallout 4 let you shoot Fallout 2 let
Right.
you shoot kids.
Yeah. So are we just not evolving what it means to break the game?
Yeah.
I look forward
to
the retaliatory mod, which will replace all instances of the word soccer with FUTBOL.
Oh, I'm. You know what I'm waiting
the
for?
realest of real football.
I can't believe someone didn't do it. But I think the next mod that Fallout London needs is a mod that keeps the name the same, but replaces all soccer balls with American footballs.
Yeah, a war.
Like, just
we need a mod war. Yes,
confusion.
and like it's the same team kicking the ball around the pitch, but it's just an eye. It's just an eye-shaped ball. It's oblong and it's got the pigskin. That's it. Hell yeah.
That's been it for me this week. If you want to see more Fall London and more Dishonored, you can go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. My schedule's up in the air right now. I got a bunch of shit going on that I don't know if it's locked in stone, so I'll get back to y'all tomorrow with that.
All right. Not much for me this week as well. So over on Shadow of the Erdtree, yeah.
Got that suppressing pillar.
Yeah, I did. I don't know if that reaction with fists in the air is what I'm supposed to have.
Okay, so I was so fucking keyed in when I found that. What do you think that thing is?
I don't know. I just went up and I read a grave, and it had a piece of lore, it sounded like, on it. And then, like, I was like, okay. And then I kind of thought about it, and then we looked at the map for a bit, and I was like, all right, this might just be like a piece of lore that we read that might imply something.
Okay, so
it was also like I took a second. I'm like, is this a puzzle for right now, or is this a just overall lore thing? And then I was like, okay, but then chat got really weird about
Yeah,
it
okay.
right away,
So-
and I was like, "What is happening?"
I'll just skip ahead I'll just skip ahead 10 minutes in the version of this conversation that includes talking about the chat at all, and just get right to the meat. So you're probably waiting for more information that would contextualize that, but it is going on so this DLC, particularly its difficulty scaling and its attempt at its story, assumes you kind of just beat Elden Ring 10 minutes before you started it, and that you're like super fresh on everything.
Yeah, it does.
But no one is, right?
But
I was, because I replayed it.
I did a recap of my own notes and stream and shit to catch back up and get ready. But I mean, I'm sure there's stuff I missed and
Okay, so the long and short of it, the suppressing pillar literally it's called suppressing pillar.
Yeah.
And it states that it is in the center of the lands between.
Right. So it's the cloud in the middle of the map.
It is the cloud in the middle of the map.
Okay. Right.
Also,
that's basically
once you get a hold of the full map, you notice that the architecture of the various areas actually corresponds to where they would border on like the externals of that water in the middle of the map. Right.
Okay. As I was walking away, that's basically what I said. Like, this could be, but let's wait for more information and find out.
Right. So the final part to that is that it is it like the core of like a base Elden Ring map really looks like a big thing got ripped out. Right, like it's sheer cliffs for like 400 feet, like all the way around,
it's
like
almost
a caldera,
like a giant caldera. I was about to say exactly. Yeah.
So when you line these things up and use that as the center point, like the lands of shadow are actually literally scooped out from those areas. So you got to you got to the area after what's her name, Rolana, right?
Yeah, after Ensis. Yeah.
Okay, so that's called Shadow Altus, right?
Yeah.
So that actually connects to Altus, like physically, if those two areas were
is this kind of like the coast of Africa and South America type of thing?
It's exactly like that.
Okay, but looking at the actual map, it's clearly, though, the hole is way bigger than the cloud is.
So it doesn't fit perfectly. It fits like areas that have been apart for a long, long time, right? But they do correspond to the different areas that it would touch. And the actual shadow tree is literally like right in front of where the Erd tree is. Like it is its literal shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. And the big pop to that is that the suppressing pillar looks like a tiny divine tower. Like the divine towers that are put in a hexagon.
Okay.
Around the center. The tree has those veils coming off of it. Like, when you look at the tree, there's those veils of cloth that are right over the top of the tree.
Okay.
So there are 6 of those. And they all point towards the divine towers.
Okay.
So, like, if you look at the America's the Mimic Veil, which is like the Mimic item that you get in the base game, it's a bunch of little veils coming off a crown. So, like, basically, the lands of Shadow are literally still there in that location as they always were, but they are being physically veiled by the divine towers in a hexagon.
Over the top.
So like it's still there, you just can't see it.
It's hidden. Okay.
And when you start to overlap these things, you find out like, hey, Jarburg, you know how Jarburg is extra cut off?
Yeah.
Well, Jarburg would actually link up to the underneath of the Horn Settlement, which is where the Jar Dungeon is. And they all just kind of fit. So, like,
interesting. Okay.
The lands of Shadow are still there. America just threw like a blanket over it,
and then
was like, you don't see it.
And
no one can see it.
And again, the physical space on the map can't really be completely accurate, but it's meant to have been
pretty close.
But like when you think about the size of the hole versus the size of the cloud, right? It would have to either expand in size or be
I would show it to you if it didn't have like area spoilers on it, but somebody on our subreddit, I forget their name, I feel bad, but they actually they like did the math to make the maps the correct size and overlap them, and it's pretty close to actually filling that space.
Okay, so basically that ocean...
Oh, it's Gilliam Yeager. It was Gilliam Yeager there in the chat.
Right, so the ocean is just essentially smaller than it looks, and the cloud is a lie. So
yeah, no, it's the whole ocean area.
Right, it fills out, and yeah, but I mean, there's clearly enough distance between so that you can't see what's going on beyond that point. You know, okay. Right. That's interesting. That's cool. That makes sense.
And like as you continue to explore, like did you
meet Bale so that's
yet?
No, I didn't. I feel like I'm about to, because I'm approaching the whatchamacallit, the Jagged Peak area, and like I took out like I got 2 Jagged Peak Drakes and met.
Okay, so that area literally fits into that weird scoop in the Dragon Barrow.
Oh, okay.
That whole volcano,
right,
like it actually, you know, that little scoop where the beast sanctum is.
Yeah, okay.
It fits there.
So everything essentially that everything that mirrors a concept or a location thematically possibly was just originally connected to it, and then you're just
and like it kind of is still there. You just can't see it.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, man, I sure wish this went differently while going through it, because it was just one of these classic moments of like, you would read it and then maybe come back and think about it or not, depends, but offline your version of this would have been like, okay, huh? And because being online and just weirdness, it just was like, wait, what? Am I supposed to go find something? What the fuck is it? What is happening right now? It was very weird, and it kind of, it didn't ruin things, but I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna stop thinking about this because this feels like it's bugging me, you know?
Yeah, I got one of the only people who got like the not the correct, but like the intended emotional reaction, which is I had just replayed Elden Ring, and I was doing it fast enough that when I got there, no one else in my chat had got there before me.
Okay, yes, we all have to figure it out together, which is the best, where like there's no one, you don't have the smug energy because you're just like, everyone's like, Yeah.
If I go fast enough during the workday.
I was playing, I think it was like, when I was playing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and it's like, oh no one knows. We're all figuring this out together. There's no smugness here.
Nobody ain't nothing. But this shit.
But when we hit that pillar though, like maybe if you type enough gray-faced, straight-faced alien emojis, maybe the meaning will surely come from on high and make sense.
So like, I'm gonna be blunt, part of that is like explicitly my fault. Not intentional.
Okay.
Like not intentionally, right? But like I wanted to beat the DLC before Dawn Trail came out. So I went the whole way through that DLC and did everything, I think, before your second stream.
Okay.
So all the people who are fiends watched all that and then took everything they learned there and then went and dumped it immediately into your show.
Okay. So I'm getting the wake right now.
You're getting the people who are all that, like, you're getting people that are like
carrying your gas.
This is the 4th Elden Ring stream I've watched to completion.
Yes.
Why aren't you going faster?
Carrying your gas over to my side. Okay, I see what's going on. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, all things aside, it was like fucking still just whatever. Like I've done like we've had moments like this enough where I'm just like, you're not gonna figure it out now. Fuck it. Who cares? Just keep it moving. We'll solve this later. But like it just. There's definitely that like the only thing is I'm like, is there something gameplay related I need to stop and figure out or do right now before I walk away from this, lest a quest fail or something else change or whatever you're kind of solving. It's like, okay, no, nothing like that. All right, whatever, fuck off. We're just moving.
I get I don't know if you get this one, but I definitely get a version of that where I'm playing something like on the third day and I'm having trouble on a boss, and like here comes the, hey, you know, Max beat this in like 4 tries, right?
That's cool.
And I'm like, oh well, I just got here. I just got here.
Yeah. So that it's interesting because that brings along what else I experienced this time around. So did hit the Fog Rift catacombs, and hit that room with the fucking the Gatling gun and the stomp fucking ceiling, and then like you're like, okay, I see FromSoft. I know you, FromSoft. We're doing your classic bits, right? All the greatest hits. Run in the room. You're going to get lit up. The spell lasts forever, and you're going to get squashed. Hide on the sides. Sure. And then when you're hiding on the sides and the squash room squashes, and then they put a fucking pit. I was like, ah! Like, I applaud. I applaud the 3 layers of bullshit.
There's something really crazy happening in some of these catacombs and these chalice dungeons in which they're like, I'm gonna get him with this. I'm like, I know that trick, and they're like, I know you know.
I know
trick.
you know. Beware the second swallow. I'm already bewaring the second swallow. There's a third swallow.
Like there's the situation where you see an item and like the item is past a blind corner, and you're like, I know there's an enemy past that blind corner. So you go and you kill the enemy right behind the blind corner, but you didn't know. But there was a bird hanging out in the sky
Off
ready
the
to
top.
dive bomb you.
Yeah.
From behind.
I definitely ran into at least 2 rooms and just did the Twin Moon Super and just went like, fuck this room. I'm not playing games, you know? Yeah, they're getting wise. They're definitely wise to that now. Absolutely. And then at the end of that was the Death Knight, which is a pretty sick boss.
He's so cool.
Chucking the fucking sunlight spears at you. And then, yeah, like dash slashing electricity, all that shit. It was really hype. And so to that degree with the whole like, oh, well, you know, if you want to be put on a leaderboard of like, oh, well, yeah, Max did it in 1 or whatever the case is. It's like I'm going on a random, basically like fun metric on things where that boss, because I felt like it, I'm like, nah, I'm just going to 1v1 it. Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't summon in or do tier or whatever. I'm like, let me just do this straight. I feel like it seems cool enough that it's worth it. And yeah, I was on it for maybe an hour or so, and then took it. But like, I think that's kind of how I'm gonna go about this at this point. Is like some bosses, I feel like doing a team thing and just going in, and if you do, surely like you'll have aggro and everything else in your favor, therefore you'll probably be able to delete it a lot easier. But if I feel like swinging fists, and now especially fucking palm striking, I'm gonna just do that. And that thing has deleted
oh yeah, no, that thing's really good.
God, like any NPC that doesn't have sufficient enough poise, that gets like NPC enemy that is just
they just get stun locked forever because the hits are so fast.
Doesn't matter, right? Just fuck you. So yeah, no, that's basically like that deleted the
the other thing that goes on, and this is like getting stronger and stronger and stronger for every Souls game, which is like the personal difficulty of any particular encounter is going to vary wildly on person and play style. So like there's a couple of bosses that took me a minute.
Yeah. And so that's it. Like I know that I'm also playing in a weird, like not weird, but I'm playing in an unconventional way because I'm punch maging, right? So if I have a situation where it's like, if you swing a sufficiently large enough sword at this thing from point blank and then a little bit spaced out, that's more or less the intended way to fight it. And I'm like, yeah, but I need to either be in its ass or chucking plasma. It's not always going to be ideal, punching a dragon foot. It's awkward. It's not.
It's very strange.
It's really not the intended way to fell these giant things, So yeah, but in this case, I was like, yeah, let me fucking play footsies with this dude. So, that was a cool fight, and And in some cases too, where it's like, oh, with the lion dancer, or with the or
And Line Dancer's fucking awesome.
right, or Twin Moons, it's like, oh, we're calling in people for the plot. All right, fuck it, it's a party, let's go. You know, yeah. So that was nice.
I'm gonna tell you right now, when you get to that final boss, you're gonna just fucking you don't worry about playing footsies. You just pull out every trick and every fucking scumbag fucking thing you got.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, I mean, like thematically, if so, like when, for example, when fucking Huara Lu walks out, I'm like, oh, we're doing this. We're going in. Like, the energy of the fight will determine. And yeah, I guess I'm on the way up to Bale. If the screaming fellow is to be,
Gone fucking rules, man.
I mean, honestly, sick ass line delivery. I appreciate it. Like that, it's got the energy of Godwin getting his shit ripped off.
Yeah.
In the beginning, right? That same like phase 2 thing.
Yeah.
I love it. Really, really good.
So like, if you spoke to him at the foot of Jagged Peak, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that means he's gonna join you for the fight.
Yep.
I'm gonna save you a lot of trouble. He's in the arena on the like his sign is in the arena. It's not outside the arena. Like you have to go through the door and like walk up to the summon sign and like summon him.
He gives you a finger.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. No, it's a summon sign on the floor a little bit to your left when you go into the arena.
Was about to say, like, because I was like, huh, odd that they would give you an item for this instead of just saying touch the sign at the door.
So
okay.
You summon him and he will speak many lines.
Oh shit.
And you will learn those lines because that boss is fucked.
Oh, okay.
And then you will start to speak those lines yourself.
Okay. See, this could have went two ways. I thought you were going to say he will speak lines and you will want to be sure to let him say all of them.
No. You'll hear all of them. Don't worry. You're going to hear them plenty of times.
Okay.
And then like on the final set of attempts, I was just saying them over and over and over. They're great. That is the best voice actor in that expansion.
Did a really good job with that first part, definitely. Cool. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what else is beyond that. But
man, that like I just want to say one last thing about that game's the Elden Ring's DLC's final boss is that you can totally figure out who the final boss is going to be like super early, and I did.
Okay.
And then they'll tell you who it's They'll tell you who it's going to be.
Okay.
And then you go, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's what I wanted.
Well, with that, let's just give the barn a couple minutes to get that out of their system.
Yeah. I like that. The barn. Ooh.
And and yeah, I mean, like shit like those, like the little tower lore moments are like, it overall, it's I guess just the cost of doing business of playing it in this style of way. But for the most part, I really do enjoy getting back into this type of like piecing together little bits of the lore and all that we were doing. It's just, it is not as fresh as it was while we were in the full run of it. So there are things where like I'm refreshed on the major arcs and players, but the minor players and minor elements are slipping. Or sometimes it'll just be a word that will pop up that's like, oh wait, I remember this word. I forgot there was one in particular that was just like, oh, this is a word we heard in the base game, but it's gone now. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, more of that will be coming this week. And we just sat down. We had Chirithi come over. So a lot of the time when someone gets top placement at Evo at a game, they will usually then go jump on their stream afterwards and talk to their chat and do some reviews of their matches and everything. But yeah, Henry doesn't stream, so we're like, yo, come over, fuck it, we'll do it. We'll do the post Evo wrap up Third Strike stream, and that was fun. got to talk about, him just traveling and playing against these Japanese players. Evo Moment 38, everything about Hayao and that full Third Strike journey. It was a whole lot of fun. So check out that. We're going to be putting out as well. After that, we kind of took a look at some of the stuff that's been going on with Third Strike on Fightcade. There's a lot of fun stuff that's there now that I found really cool. I remember Reggie told me about these a while ago, but I didn't. And I kind of looked into it a little bit, but now we went and kind of showed off on stream. What they did was they created like training mode inside the arcade game through Fightcade. And you can load up, like a infinite life, whatever, practicing, labbing, etc. But then some folks went ahead and like customized the game to do. They modded essentially like advanced training, so you can see things like the exact window of like how much time you have to parry something, or you can set up like all kinds of really interesting scenarios to see. Not just like hitboxes and so on, but just like precision inputs on like, if there's anything you're trying to practice, you can see kind of like the matrix code as to why and what's happening, really cool stuff. And then someone made trials for all characters, and like you can go through and like, and so they created like like the full roster has like maybe like 5 to 10 trials per character, and like they're all based on like real situations that are like things that you might need
things
to
that
know.
Would actually happen,
practical applications, exactly. So like there's like a cool one, like one of the first ones was like, Makoto versus Alex in like the corner, and it's like Alex is going to keep pressing like his medium kick, and your job is to do a EX chop into EX Hayate rush punch into your super, and like it's a scenario that you're like, oh shit, you can do that, that's possible, and it kind of teaches you what's possible and then lets you give it a shot. And then press start to just give it to try again really quickly as well. So yeah, really really fun stuff there. And then it also, of course, if one thing that I always wanted was just like, I know that like all the great Makoto players do her Super Art 2, which is when she jumps off the wall, does her flying kick sequence, and basically after hitting you with that, she can get a stun and then do it again. It's what makes her really, really strong. And so, yeah, through this trial mode, I was able to kind of like practice what those things were, because I remember a while ago I was like, man, that's too hard for me, that's for advanced players, I'll never be able to do it, I'll just stick to the basic super one, Seishusen Godanzuki. And doing this, I was like, oh shit,
I always picked Seishusen Godanzuki.
Yeah, for it's always been that way, just keep it simple, do some damage, call it a day, but then with this I was like, oh shit, I can actually kind of I can see what's possible, so I had a lot of fun going through that, and we kind of showed off some of that, and did some sets and stuff with people as well. And I kind of and with that, it was nice to kind of look and see like even some of the last trials were like the last trial for Chun-Li obviously is Evo Moment 37, do the full parry,
as it always is,
right? But like some of the last trials with like Makoto were like, oh, do like her Karakusa, or like her Kara buttons, which is just like,
oh, I don't want to.
Cats canceling a button into like a further moving thing to get.
I really don't want to do that. That's hard.
Okay, so here's what it turns out, and is for our entire lives, this has been the tech of the gods that were like, yeah, these guys, like, we're just not there. We're just gonna play for fun casually. Love this game. It's my favorite ever, but it's just I'm as casual as can be at it, and I know what I can't do, And coming back, using this, seeing the information that the game is kind of showing you, and then giving it a shot, I'm like, oh, it's been like Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, now 6. Like, we've been playing these games a good bit and have gotten better than we ever were back in the days of college Street Fighter 3 and all that. Maybe those really impossible things are possible now. And sure enough, I was like, oh my god, I can actually do it. I can tap the button to get a further reaching command grab with Makoto. And I'm like, oh, that's not that hard at all. This used to be so impossible back in 2003 you know? But like now, just from playing these games more, even just in the most casual way or just messing around the way we have been, I'm like, oh fuck, that's within reach. I never thought I could.
I remember back when I started playing Virtua Fighter 5, I was like, there's no way I'll ever have the mental eyesight and brain power to react to myself getting a counter hit. Right, and change what I'm doing because I'm like, that was a counter. Even in Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear, where the bitch yells out counter or what, never. Oh, I can't do it. And I didn't even realize it until I had been doing it for like an entire evening on like Bison's jabs.
There you go.
Like, oh, I am just I'm doing the medium version off counter hit because I know it'll. When did that fucking happen?
Yeah. There's knowing that you're gonna be landing it in advance, but then reacting to seeing the thing pop up is really, and it's just interesting to kind of be like, this was a threshold that I was content to never ever hit, you know? In the same way I currently, like, I think about when people talk about Capcom versus SNK2, like they always talk about roll canceling because like that's this crazy bug that lets you give yourself the invincibility of a roll on any move. And it was always just like, oh yeah, you gotta be incredible, you just gotta to do every move and roll before it. And like, it's like we've probably done harder things at this point, you know, that going back to it, it's like, oh, that's not as hard as it once seemed, but we didn't have the internet, we didn't have all this information out there, we didn't have labbing and practicing in the ways we have, and all this experience now means just going back to what was impossible, and it's like you're actually past that point. So yeah, it was just kind of cool because I'm like, you know, there was a time where I remember with Blanca, I did like crouching light kick into crouching light kick into crouching light kick into his ultra, and to do that you had one frame to combo it, you know, and I was like, that's so fucking hard.
That's hard.
But like I managed to do that, and I had a window of time where I could do it, and then it went away. But I was like, yeah, that's stuff that's way notably harder than what I'm describing here with these advanced third strike and CVS2 mechanics, you know. So yeah, it was a nice kind of full circle moment of like being like, okay, I can do that, and I can do her super art 2 off the wall and get the stun, you know, and or come close to it at the very least, and feel like, oh shit, I'm finally where the really, really good people were at 15 years ago, you know. And yeah, that's thanks to like this cool stuff that they've got there on Fightcade and stuff. So, you know, it's fun. That was fun. That was very fun. And yeah, just we're gonna be putting those episodes out on Wooly Versus. So if you want to tune into the Chirithi stream of us just going through all of it, tune in for that, and for some Fightcade adventures as well. We're going to be back to Shadow of the Erdtree, some Yakuza, and might do some other stuff as well this week, because there's a bunch of trailers from Evo that we still have to watch and check out, and there's some footage from our gameplay that we still have to go over as well. So we might have a day of just kind of like messing around and catching up with y'all. So stay tuned to my Twitter for the schedule, and yeah, Wooly Versus on Twitch and on YouTube for the regular episodes. Let's take a quick. We're due for a slop stream. It's been a minute. We're due for one of those. But
I did one on Saturday, and I gotta ask you for some pro tips, because I had the worst submissions that I have ever received on those ever. I hit the end, and I think I skipped 20 in a row.
Oh my god!
Like just god awful.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like getting up in a bad mood to go piss super hard.
Well, that's why you gamify it, so that when it's a skip, it's actually a hype moment and not just a complete blowout of the candle. It's like, that was terrible. We got to skip.
It was bad enough that like the wife was watching, and she's like, I know what I can do. I know how to get one in. So she's like, she called a ringer and like, you must watch 4 minutes of this. And she kicked in goddamn Arthur from Red Dead is grooming his horse. You are his horse ASMR. And I'm like sitting here, I'm like, I have to watch to the part where he feeds you a carrot, or else I'll get in trouble in my marriage. Oh.
I'm telling you, it's kind of how like people that LP'd and streamed used to hit bugs in games and get really awkward and go, oh no, that was awkward. Oh, let me quickly cancel and restart so that nobody saw that. That was weird. And then we came along and went, yeah, look at that bug. Let's go.
Let's see if we can get the character's whole head out of the level.
Exactly. We changed the energy of what it meant when the game falls apart. You need to change the energy of what it means when you skip, because it's so unbearably awful. I turned it into a competition between two playlists. So you got to gamify the skip. That's the way.
Maybe. Anyway, let's go piss.
All right, BRB. right. You ever you ever go to the bathroom like you just did and take a look at your underwear and think to yourself, I'm used to this kind of underwear, but it's just not unadulterated enough. You ever think to yourself?
I don't know what that means.
You ever think to yourself, like, I have these boxers with the whole like button and flap, but what's the point of all that when we could just get something that kind of like wraps around the side and shows some side ball?
My underwear shows enough side ball as is. Probably get new underwear.
You've been paying attention to Grand Blue? You see what's going on over in Grand Blue World? Oh,
no.
They got some costumes coming out for Beelzebub and Belial.
Oh yes. Okay, there it is. Thank you.
With full on package.
On side ball?
Just full on side ball. The bulge is out. Yeah. There's some tech there that I didn't think Gravity would support, but they know what they're doing. They know their audience. God bless the Grand Blue. Full steam ahead. Hey,
I've never thought about that even once.
well, I'm glad to pop that cherry. Unadulterated.
No.
Unadulterated armor.
No.
We need we need to find our unadulterated armor. Absolutely. All right. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors on that note. This week, the podcast is sponsored by Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform to help you with every stage of your business, whatever you're selling, whether you're making your first sale or making that millionth sale. Shopify is helping you out with every stage as you grow. So that is something that we had to deal with when we were getting into this Let's Play streaming, etc. game, is figuring out how merch works and how to get it to people, and how people in different countries where I don't know how the shipping and things like that get handled, how people can get these things. And in some cases, it's just like, that sucks. You can't make it there. Too bad, whatever. And being someone that lives in Canada frequently enough, it sucks when I'm hit with this cool thing. You can't get it up here. Sorry. Continental United States only. So not even Hawaii or Alaska get in on some of these things, That's always a bummer. But if you can get your affairs in order and you can get your business platform set up right, you can be handling worldwide sales and have a platform like Shopify underneath that to help you out with the metrics, the data, getting everything tracked for you, as well as it's the platform with the best conversion rate, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. It's got the leading support as well, and it's powering 10% of all e-commerce in the US, including multiple brands such as Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklyn, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 different countries. So if you're getting started on your business and you want a platform to help you grow with that alongside every step of the way, grow your business with Shopify. You can sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/superbeast now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/superbeast. Thank you very much, Shopify.
Thanks, Shopify.
All right. This week, they put out that trailer for the thing that came out of nowhere that no one knew existed, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, a Prime series. out of
I've been
nowhere.
thinking a lot about this.
Just Sega, and I guess someone with I think I must imagine someone like must have like approached and said, "Yo, we want to do this. Like we got an idea," as opposed to the other way around, right? Like
You know what's funny?
How does this get greenlit?
What do you mean? So that's the funniest thing when you say that is how did this get greenlit? This is the second thing. There is a Like a Dragon movie feature film that came out in 2005, directed by Takeshi Miike. It's terrible.
Jesus Christ, really?
It is terrible,
wow.
man. You can go look it up. It is awful.
So
it is goddamn terrible.
Okay, Takeshi Miike did go on a run of a bunch of adaptations of things that made it to Fantasia for a while. Because I want to say like Cutie Honey and like Blade of the Immortal and like all these things just got touched because he also like never stops working. So there's a stretch of years where like every year at Fantasia it would be like we've got the 2 new Takeshi Miike films,
and you're like 2?
what the fuck? Yeah.
So that movie is like
Yatterman, JoJo.
Okay, so you see this Like a Dragon
Ace
Yakuza
Attorney
teaser, right? And you watch this and you're like, what's this tone gonna be? And you can tell from the trailer it's very obviously going to be the dramatic primary story cutscene Like a Dragon, serious melodrama, crime, Yakuza thing, right? Like you look at it and you see shots of him entering into the fighting arena in Purgatory. You see shots of like the funeral, in the funeral procession that ends in the big brawl. You see like the host club and what I think is Stardust. You know, the usual, right? The Miike version is not doing that. It does follow the main story, but he tapped into the side quest dimension for that movie.
Okay.
So like you have little bits of like Majima like peeking around a corner, but he's peeking around with the wrong eye, so he can't see anything.
Okay.
And like the dramatic climax of that film is Nishiki and his goons just beat Kiryu damn near to death, and Kiryu pulls a Staminan Royale out of his pocket and chugs it, and then beats everyone up like it's a Mario mushroom.
Okay, so this all checks out as you say Takashi Miike. Because it feels as if he's kind of the person where I don't know if it's him pointing at them or if it's them bringing it to him, but like anime and games will just get adapted by him and just become these like 12-month projects where it's like not a day more, not a day less. We're gonna do the whole thing and just get it done. And yeah, it's gonna all have that goofy energy to it for most of it. And like looking, so it's not surprising to hear that's the case. This trailer seems to be a tone trailer that is much more serious. And my only hope, I guess, with it is, while being accurate, perhaps maybe one in every so many episodes, we'd go to the side quest dimension, right? If maybe like 20%, maybe 1 in 4, whatever the count is, we get into we take a break from the serious shit to get into the goofy shit, then yeah,
so
mission accomplished.
Before we leave off from making fun of Takashi Miike and Yakuza, there's the feature film, but even prior to that, there is the OVA series called Yakuza or Like a Dragon Prologue.
Okay.
Which came out before the game and is the canon backstory for Nishiki and Kiryu.
Before which game?
Yakuza 1.
The first game.
Yes.
No shit.
Guess what? It's also terrible.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Terrible.
So like its bones have always been
Oh yeah,
live action.
So when you look at that and you know that they got Miike to direct all this shit, then the fact that they got a bunch of Hollywood actors to dub it for Yakuza 1 makes more sense, because
Did
Sega
Mark
was
Hamill
like,
do
we're
that
gonna
one
push
too?
super hard. This is gonna be the next big thing for Sega. And it wasn't until it was. It took them like 3 games for it to be the next big thing for Sega in Japan, and then it took 6 games for it to be the next big thing for Sega in America.
And a goofy Let's Play channel going, y'all see this shit?
Y'all see this? So this is so weird, because like, what are you gonna do for Majima in a serious tone? Probably have him be the goofiest fucking thing in the whole thing. Like, people wanted my thoughts on that tone trailer, and like, there's not a whole lot there. Like, you don't even see a single character like speaking lines.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of concept art, right? You're just looking at the
it's like,
the tone of the world.
It's gonna be serious. But like, I think the core of it is the bones of that story can't be too serious.
Okay, so would you prefer like once every couple episodes Mushroom Samba, or once per episode for like a minute just that guitar strum starts playing?
I don't know.
And some shit's going down in the middle of a chase. He has to stop by and help a kid buy some porn from a vending machine.
I would
get back to the chase.
I don't think they would ever do it, but what I would actually really like is for them to do the mostly serious Yakuza 1 tone, and for once an episode, maybe twice an episode, you can see what are obviously sub stories happening in the background that everyone is ignoring.
Okay.
Like,
so
why is Onomichio being chased by a bunch of dogs in the background?
Okay, so a violent knife fight, right, between the Dojima family, and like some shit's unfolding, bursts into a bunch of people pocket racing.
Yeah.
And like,
you know what?
And they smash into the pocket racer race, and like the fight just continues, but everyone there's like, oh, what the hell? And someone dressed as Fighter is like, oh no, how am I gonna pay for this?
I could see they would never do it, but I could see a situation in which we're doing the normal dramatic story, and Kiryu just stops to have a smoke with like Miracle Johnson.
Sure.
And he's completely unexplained, just absolutely no detail given whatsoever, other than a small closed caption at the bottom of the screen that says, "For more information, please check out Yakuza 0."
a little True Believers tune into.
Yeah, no, like the comic book variation of like, see when Cap had cancer in issue blah blah blah.
Yeah, okay. Or Kiryu pushing past some asshole that's handing him a flyer for the Order of the Munan Chohept Onast, being like, no, you gotta sign up. It's the one true path. Shoulder PP, and get the fuck out of here. And going on.
And being like, I'm not getting back into that.
Sure.
Again.
yeah. Sure. A little line, drop a line, and then keep on the seriousness for a million percent. Mm-hmm.
But they're not gonna do that. Instead, it's gonna be played super serious, completely straight. Which I feel like I feel like if they try and play it completely straight, they're going to run into the issue that like the things that happen in that story are ridiculous. Kiryu punches his way to the top of the Millennium Tower and fights like 100 goons from the army.
It's not, they don't have to do much. It's just as he's beating a dude in an alleyway, just he's got to have someone go, hey, and he looks up and the Obitarian is in her window going, keep it down. And she's wearing the fucking thing, and she's yelling about, all you kids these days, and then steps over the body of the person he beat up but didn't kill, and then he continues on his mission. You just gotta sprinkle it in. That's it.
I could see like I could see one of the callbacks they would like is like having Kiryu just beat a guy up and down the entirety of like a convenience store.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
through every single
donkey.
rack into the microwave, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah. All through every floor of a Don Quixote, 100%. Yeah, man. It's just, you know, are they gonna have fun with it? We'll find out. But sure.
Oh my god, I just saw the funniest all caps question, which is, how are they going to play Secret Koreans? Sorry, how are they going to do the Secret Korean storyline if they play it straight? To which I say, have you seen a Japanese melodrama? That is a literal plot line in tons of shit that can be played straight. It's played straight in Yakuza 2.
There's always the thing is played straight, but it's so absurd and the writers are so out of touch that it becomes hilarious. There's always that route. For
like,
sure.
It is a real thing in Japan of some of us could be Korean. Watch out. Sometimes you can't tell.
But no, Majima is video games. I don't know what that's gonna be. And this is saying it not even truly fully understanding or knowing the context of him popping out of a trash can, licking a knife and screaming and freaking out.
Oh, that is literally only Kiwami. That's not even in Yakuza 1.
Right. Okay.
That was like, hey, Kiwami doesn't have Yakuza 1 actually has very little Majima compared to his popularity later. So when they remade it into Kiwami, they're like, how do we put more? We'll just have Majima attack you at random in drag or out of trash cans or from the sky. Because Majima, he's cool.
Sure. Yeah, I'm imagining, you know, like a live action person trying to like do all the poses and scream all the things and go full Joker mode without coming across like the Joker. And it's a high bar. It sounds like a very difficult task. So we'll see. But yeah, just out of nowhere, Yakuza series.
I want one scene. I literally just need one, you know, like they'll put out like, hey, here's so-and-so talking to someone on the side of the street, like some expository nothing. And you'll be able to tell, everyone will be able to tell whether or not they nailed it or not, because like those games have a really specific directing style for their cutscenes that you can totally emulate and would translate very well. And like just literally do that. Just do that.
Occasionally as well, like moments of like opening up the briefcase and zooming in on the dramatic money.
Yeah. Like, can we get a live action version of Kiryu kicking that door open and that thug just flying off screen?
Just going flying. Right. Yeah, sure.
Like, I would love it.
You know, yeah, maybe even have a full Mahjong episode in there somewhere, right? Dead serious. Go for it.
I feel like my excitement for this TV show is going to depend dramatically on how many episodes they're willing to commit to. Because if they come out and go, it's 14 episodes that are 45 minutes long, I'm like, oh, there's definitely not enough in Yakuza 1 to do 14 fucking episodes. That means they're going to fill it with dumb nonsense. Hell yeah. But if they're like, it's a 6-episode miniseries, it's like, oh, it's 6!
Is it I was going to say, do we know the length?
Oh, tell you what each episode is going to be right now.
6 episodes. Okay.
It's going to be 95 in the flashback in jail, and then the second one will be coming back and doing Stardust and meeting Majima and doing the batting cage. And fuck it.
I don't imagine like this is the type of thing too where like because we're in the streamer era, right? Like British style seasons are becoming more of a thing where it's essentially like a test amount of episodes.
I think the British should stop.
Well, you know,
there was going to be more words, and then I decided that I meant it without the more words.
Sure. Depending on the story, sometimes short is good, but for this insanely lengthy series. Yeah.
I still I bring it up every time this comes up, but I still think my all-time favorite, like, oh well, British series have shorter episodes, is like, oh, I should watch Sherlock. Oh cool, how long is that? Oh, it's 3 episodes and one of the episodes sucks. Awesome.
As an appreciator of reclaiming my time, I like it. I do not mind at all when it's like 6 episodes. Let's go, in and out. If it feels like it had enough time and everything if it doesn't feel as if like, oh damn it, we needed more, then cool. You know, it all depends on what it is, right? Not every story's got a drag, but some of them do need time.
I mean, usually you get to the end of a British series and you're like, oh my God, I can't listen to the Queen's English anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah. But no, I remember
I'm going to kill myself.
Like, yeah, Luther was short and the original Office was short and stuff, you know. There's
Man, I really liked Luther, and part of the amount that I liked Luther was that I didn't understand what Idris Elba was saying.
What's
really
wrong with Stringer Bell?
Really like his super northern accent, but I had to use subtitles because I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, I can't understand Stringer Bell. What the fuck? All right, so that's going down, and at the same time, yeah, big old MCU news. Robert Downey Doom. It's happening.
You guys want to see what it looks like when the richest people in the world panic?
I mean, so it's like, okay, but here's the funny thing, like the thing about it is like, all right, they had their contingency for the what if one of all, like, there's a million A-list actors in the MCU. What if someone gets canceled? What do we do, right? Break the glass and get the big thing everyone wanted, and with the big name grab and make a giant headline. It makes sense because I feel as well like beyond the whole bit with like, okay, Jonathan Majors is fucking guilty as shit and that's that, he's out. There's overall like setting things up. I don't know that people were particularly excited for Kang and the Kang dynasty and, you know, the timeline lord. Like, it feels as if we're in this moment of like everyone's pretty checked out of current MCU, so it feels like they're taking the opportunity to not only replace him but also do a big like, okay, fuck all that shit, big headline, Doom, Robert Downey Jr., whatever that means, you know. So I get it. I see why that's a play.
So, like, can I enter in as somebody who, like, dodged the entirety of what I guess we would call Phase 4 of Marvel? I watched Loki, which was really good.
Season 1?
See that? So, the first season of Loki was really good.
I liked it.
And they set up Kang as, like, a threat that was interesting because he wasn't in it. he was described via exposition as, oh, it'd be really bad.
Like,
and then I saw the trailer for the Ant movie, and I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna get iced out by ants, and he did. And then I'm like, how the fuck is this guy supposed to be the next big bad? And then they heard me say that. And then they annihilated his ass from the fucking timeline in the second season of Loki.
So it's like, that's why it's also like, it's like one of those bits where like, okay, if this was a character and a setup that everyone was really invested in, if this was Brolin Thanos, it would be like, you know, it would be one thing. But it's aborting the Kang dynasty also feels like, yeah, you can swerve and, you know, just even within the canon to something more interesting, because who the fuck cares? And again, like, I don't know, like, that's a character I don't really know that well, and I don't know what's up, and I don't really know that anyone gave a shit, man. Like,
he's a time man.
He's Lord of Timelines, you know, came from a parallel world where you know, there was no, like, it was, things were safer, so tech went further, whatever the case is. But yeah, no, it's like, okay, swerve to this now. I think it's an announcement that makes perfect sense, and like, holy shit, there it is, right? Oh fuck. All right.
Pardon. I died.
Now the debate is like, does this suck for Victor Von Doom, or is this like, how are they going to play this, right? Is it going to be a Tony Stark variant that becomes Doctor Doom, or is it going to be just him playing masked up?
I mean, you could
Victor,
all like, we're doing the parallel universe shit, so you could easily just do like, what if Tony Stark was born in Latveria instead of America?
Yeah, you could, right? And so that's the thing is like, I don't think personally, I don't think this like announcement and for the setup of it like sucks just for what it is right away. I'm okay with that based on how we have to see like what they're going to do with it, right? I would hope that it's not like a completely different person, and like Victor Von Doom is still a character and he's playing that, and I guess we'll see how that works out, you know. I hope it's not just, oh, what if Tony from another world like became this person or whatever, because
I would really like it if they make him up and burnt him and just never addressed the fact that it's being played by the same actor at all ever.
They certainly could, right? He can't, and like, again, the mask on is a part of this character's identity, right? It could be a thing. Like, they could lean in and have everyone see his face and go, oh my god, the guy that sacrificed, etc. But if they just play it as is, as like, no, he's a different person, that's doable too. I think that like the setup for this is not inherently shit. I think this can be written in a way that's good. So like I'm curious to see how they play it. And I guess they announced at the same time with Doomsday Secret Wars right after that.
Oh, that was a re-announcement.
Yeah. So the Russos are basically going to be going
from
like one to the other.
I made a statement.
It is desperate. It is desperate. It is a panic move, 100%. But it can be done well. I'm hoping it's done well. When
everyone on social media was popping off, going, "Oh my god, crazy!" and this is the most pathetic ass desperate shit I've ever seen in my entire life, I came out with the brave statement of, quote, "Doctor Doom is cool. I like Doctor Doom," end quote. That is my thoughts on the subject. Yeah.
And you know what? They could have cast Robert Downey Jr. to replace Kang.
We could have done that.
But they didn't do that. What do you mean, you Kangs?
I think this whole thing is worth it just because I saw that black and white picture of Robert Downey Jr.
threatened me with
a little like face on with the text, "The Fantastic Four are outside my house," and I laughed really hard when I saw that. And then I scrolled and saw the same exact picture with the phrase "foot dive" next to it.
Yeah,
and then I laughed
again. Yeah. Let's go. Foot dive.
And I was like, this is worth it.
Watching
this is
you
the kind
shower.
Of dog shit memery. Also, if this is done like badly, it's gonna be so bad. And that's also exciting.
Like, the glass is broken, the panic is clear, right? This is the contingency that we always wondered. I've been so curious. Like, literally, I was like, what do you do with a 20 movie trajectory when something just goes off the rails, right? And like early on in the whole like Rhodey, the Terrence Howard into Don Cheadle,
right,
it's like, okay, we just literally changed the actor but continued on. That's one thing. But they didn't have that whole plan as it was. And here now, yeah, when you commit this way, it's just the abort button is way easier when the actor sucks and the setup sucked in canon as well, you know. So whatever version of this we get, it could be terrible. I suspect it will be way better than the Kang Dynasty plan that was supposed to happen.
Oh yeah.
That thing was fucking destined for the bin. That was garbage no matter what. You know, this is a swerve towards a better, worse, or good, like whatever the situation is. So,
oh man, that animated GIF of all those Kangs cheering in the audience is like really funny now.
And I think I read another like headline was that like they are going to recast the actual character to figure out how, and then like I guess that'll he'll exist, but he just won't be the build up to whatever, you know. So yeah, there's gonna be I think an actor replacement, and then they're gonna find a way to wrap that up and get out of there, and then swerve into Robert Downey Doom. And yeah, with any luck, we'll see a foot dive. I really hope so. Maybe even
they also so like hidden amongst all this, like because everyone's going, oh my, it's Doom, oh my God, it's Robert Downey Jr. is the part that actually matters, which is the Russo brothers are going to come back,
yes,
and direct the next Avengers movie.
Both of them actually, yeah.
Which is like, oh, do you mean the ones that made all the best directing choices of all the movies they fucking made? Oh yeah, you should get those guys, yeah.
And then the other bit was well, I guess like based on Secret Wars from, I mean, there's the original Secret Wars, and then there's Secret War, and then there's the newer Secret Wars, but the premise is always the same. It's like, fuck all
I think
this
these wars are all that secret.
Well, the premise, it's pretty much like, fuck this multiverse shit, right? Let's re-simplify. So, yeah, great. Swerve, course correct, do what you got to do, you know, pull out all the stops. Give us some
flailing around and shitting themselves is so much more interesting than just a boring Kang thing.
Yep.
Like even if it's bad, it'll be way worse.
His dialogue will be fantastic. You know, he's gonna have some bangers to drop on people, and who knows? Maybe even him and Strange will go to hell. And
yeah, why not?
And fuck it up for a bit. You know, give us a little bit of that team up. Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. And while we're at it, I'm down with any role that Harrison Ford gets to completely check out on.
You mean every role?
Yeah. He's like, they're like, oh, like, you know, like what was it like coming to play the Red Hulk? He's cast as Thunderbolt Ross. And he's like, yeah, I don't fucking know. I mean, it's easy when a paycheck shows up, right? The same way I pay attention to everything else, just by not giving a fuck and showing up for the money.
Shit.
He's like, great, and everyone's like, you know, and I think someone asked who's more afraid of stakes, Indy or Red Hulk? And
he's like, that question's fucking stupid. Thank you for asking, though.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not gonna answer that shit. Who gives a shit?
It makes me want to go see the Red Hulk movie, which is actually a Falcon movie. Because I want to watch an actor still manage to do a good job while being visibly disgusted by him being in the movie that he's in.
It's great. And just him on stage going, like scream like an idiot for a while. Get paid. Fuck yeah. It's you know what it is? It's like the alternate mirror of Anthony Hopkins' energy. Like anytime Sir Anthony Hopkins, one of the greatest fucking actors ever, does any kind of talk about like, oh, the roles he plays, or you know how he gets into it, he's just like, I just read the fucking lines on the fucking page, man. What the it's not that complicated, you know. They're like, oh, did you go method for no I read what was there.
Like Harrison Ford is like one drink away from just going, acting's for losers.
Like, you know, he's like god tier thespian, and it's like, did you do any research for the role? No. What? Why? The words are there on the page, aren't they?
I read the lines.
I read them good. What are we doing here?
I love it.
It's fantastic. Did my job. Yeah. It's so that I love that. That's great. And you know, I'm assuming that with that same energy, we'll lean in and get our Red Hulk with the gun bit.
I gotta say, I'm really, you know, the MCU, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad that we're at the point of comics where movie comics have now entered into the exact same place in my mind as regular comics, which no, I'm not going to watch/read it. I'm going to ask my friend that does, and he's going to tell me that Red Hulk is the president. I'm going to go, wow, that's fucking stupid.
I can't wait for people to see him Hulk the fuck out and scream and go nuts, and then just pull out a gun and shoot Abomination in the head. Like, that's because that's the way that goes. Yeah, all right. Let's see it. MCU. So that's going down. Something else that happened. Hey, the developers at Blizzard have formed a wall-to-wall union known as the World of Warcraft Game Makers Guild. Over 500 developers across the entire dev team got that shit done.
So, Blizzard has always been like anti-union, the company.
Unless...
And then they went to get owned by Microsoft. And within 3 weeks, we're saying Bethesda is wholly unionized. Blizzard is wholly unionized. And we're like, if only there was a reason these companies would be scrambling to get unions as fast as possible.
Where did these swords of Damocles start? When did you start hanging those up in the offices? When did the floor start becoming lava? What's going on over here?
Congratulations, Blizzard. Congratulations, Bethesda. You have now protected yourselves from the incoming layoffs that were going to hit you this year, probably.
Yeah, nuclear launch aborted. We'll see what happens. At the very least, they'll have to take it back to the negotiating table. But hey, whatever it takes to get it done. Am I right? Like,
these are big companies.
You're there.
Too. It would be nice to see this like roll on through and have more unions in the game biz. Like, what needs to happen is for them to renegotiate with Microsoft and have it become public that layoffs would have been on the table, but instead a different deal gets to be reached. So other companies can go, hey, wait a second. If we had a union, maybe we could avoid layoffs.
So it's not like peace times are what push labor towards getting that shit done in any other field.
It's threat.
You know what I mean? Like, whenever this has happened historically, it's because the fucking wolves are at the door. So, there you go. This is what it is. Same situation. Get it done. You know, if people are otherwise kind of like, let's wait and see, it's not that big a deal, well, then it's like, all right, well, now that it's in the situation where that's about to happen and that's more imminent, push comes to shove, right? I think that's always been the case, and this is no different.
I also think that World of Warcraft's devs have more strike power than most game devs because their game can't stop for even 1 day.
For 1 second, right.
Right?
MMOs are in that unique position, or live service.
WoW would start to just disintegrate if people were not like fixing it every second of the day.
I mean, shit. Well, speaking of Blizzard here, and Actiblizzard on that note, if things might start going crazy, things might start falling apart. Someone might hit a switch that forces a bunch of Call of Duty players to be matched up with people of equal skill.
So I didn't get through the whole paper.
Oh, were you reading it? Okay. So 25-page study where they secretly turned skill-based they tested out the results of skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty and then tested it on and off. And so the results are, the TLDR is that everyone hates it off, and essentially it works when it's on, but the A/B testing was also more or less kind of proved that people that were just kind of against this are more or less just streamers that want to pub stomp on people while they can stream and not really focus and flex on online, but for the most part skill-based matchmaking fucking works. Is that the correct takeaway of the 25-page article? Okay.
There are a lot of interesting pieces you can pull out, and so I have not finished reading the whole thing. I got a couple pages in, but then I got distracted. So there's a couple takeaways you can pull away like immediately. The first of which is that they describe the series of factors that matter in matchmaking. Factor number one with a bullet that is the most important matchmaking priority is connection. How good is the connection between you and the other person?
That's brought up right away in the abstract, yeah.
Number two is how long is it going to take you to match, right? Number three for Call of Duty is playlist diversity. Number four is the recent map that you just played or recent mode to vary it up. And down at number 5 of 8 priority is approximate skill level between lobbies and players. So even in the abstract, skill-based matchmaking is the 5th priority of all matchmaking priorities.
Beneath which comes input device, platform, and then voice chat.
Yeah. So following that, I don't know how many people either took or remember their university statistics course, but the one of the takeaways from this white paper is that if you disable skill-based matchmaking, you end up with a much wider variety, much greater prevalence of one-sided blowouts in either direction, right? Mm-hmm. So either you completely blow them out or you get completely blown out because there's nothing that's trying to accommodate or nudge it at all.
NBA players are doing pickup games with kids in grade 4.
Maybe,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So there's a reason for this, and part of statistics, you can go into something called game theory, and one of the simplest concepts in it is the way that win streaks happen in sports, but you can visualize it and interpret it according to coin flips. So let's say you had a quarter, like an American quarter, and you flipped it, right? It's a 50-50 chance of it'll land heads or tails, right? Now, if you flip it 100 times, you could assume that it would, with some margin of error, land 50 heads, 50 tails, right? And that would repeat for no matter how many times you flip it, right? The more times you flip it, the less that significant error would occur. However, if you flip it enough times in a row, weird freak patterns start to show up in your data. If you flip a coin 100,000 times in a row, you will end up with situations in which it will land heads like 500 times in a row.
Right. None of which...
Because that's just how it happens.
Right, and the statistical significance, it doesn't change anything. It's the outcome is still the outcome. You're still at 50-50.
Right. So
but
if
the
you
patterns
have really...
will... Within random.
So if you have really large numbers, you'll get weird streaks.
Right.
And this can be applied to professional sports. This is why some years this team that is altogether average is going to have a winning streak of 100% of their games. Because you're playing enough games all the time that eventually the numbers are just going to run out, that they got lucky on every jump, they got lucky on every free throw, etc. And you'll also have teams that are rated top just fall to pieces and have a terrible fucking season for no reason because they just lost every possible statistical coin toss over and over and over.
Assuming that we're playing with it's not like one person on the field.
Yeah, right. It's all a big factor,
yes, yeah,
right?
Sure.
But when you compare it to matchmaking, which is having millions of games a day, right? It's like, well, if you don't do anything to juice the numbers or nudge it one way or the other, eventually you are going to have people that are being placed into winning streak lobbies over and over and over and over. And that's the high that the quote unquote content creator for Call of Duty is chasing. They're chasing, well, if it's totally unregulated and I do this, I'm just going to blow out all the noobs because I'm, at this performance delta above the other person, right? However, the opposite is also true. People will run into 100 long game streaks of Call of Duty of being completely blown out to shit. And at that point, they will just stop playing. And the reason for that is that with all this weird statistical goofiness, even if you have a 50% chance of a total win in your, like a total blowout in your favor or a total blowout in their favor, losses feel twice as bad as wins feel good.
Shout outs Leon Massey and Corey Gaming.
Because people have what's called loss aversion. And in loss aversion, if you could lose $10 on a bet, you would have to be offered $20 on a bet for you to feel like it's worth it. So if you don't have any controls at all, more people will have a worse time overall forever. You need to nudge it some way. In high school, your coach should have looked at the kids and split the two fat kids into opposing teams.
Nah.
They should have looked at me and the other kid who was short like me called Chris. Don't put us on the same team. That's ridiculous.
Nah, but then I can't make my highlights set to 30-second to Mars, bro. I need to stream and get those 360 no scopes.
In high school pickup games at recess, you would see all the kids that were good at basketball form into one team, and they had a great time. And the kids who weren't good at basketball had such a bad time, they stopped playing pickup games at recess.
Yeah, the team that was skins was probably crushing it. The ones that were willing to pull the shirt off, and the shirts just fucking ate shit. Exactly. That's interesting. I didn't know that the term was the hot hand fallacy. That's
yeah. Well, it happens in poker too. You're on a winning streak, and you're like, I must be really good. It's like, no, a lot of games of poker are being played. Eventually, someone is just going to guess right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean you're blessed. You should in fact quit while you're ahead.
The roulette, like showing the results of the last couple of spins or the last couple of result, black, white, or green, black, red, or green on the board, and like, God, Min hit that so hard. He was like, no, I see the pattern though. Like
It's one of those things where human beings are really bad at imagining certain numbers over a certain amount. Like thinking of 1 million is kind of beyond us. It's so far beyond our hunter-gatherer roots of like 150 people, right? But all you need to know is that numbers get fucking stupid if the numbers get big enough. Stupid, weird shit starts to happen. And constantly yelling about how you actually want the tyranny of numbers back on you is like, no, actually, people, it's been shown over and over and over in every study, particularly in games, that what's actually fair doesn't feel fair.
And so this it kind of has a side interesting discussion here of like, so you have in a fighting game skill based to everything, which is your ranked mode. You have a casual mode, which will let you connect to anyone in any circumstance. But depending on the game, in some cases, they'll still let it be like completely asymmetric. And there is a moment when you show up to a tournament and you play in a bracket where you are randomly distributed. You know, but what happens after each round of that is you're essentially in a sequence of placement matches that then determine where you end up, except the end result is the final placement of the event. You know, yes, it's if you want to have a game designed around the idea of like the results are just you are always randomized in the group you play with, and you have very little control over that, and you just want to curb stomp or whatever. Like, I feel as if so I'm not sure how this should apply to like a game where it has like a key mode, like a Call of Duty or Warzone or something like that. But like, if you have a ranked option versus unranked option, I feel like you can give that to people, you know, and it might, but like the version of it that's like fully true, random, casual, whatever it is, might deal with like population problems depending on how you know, whether the game is like when that Gundam game came out, for example, and it was like, oh, one of these modes just doesn't work because no one's ever in it. So there's just no point in
I
queuing up
think
for it, right?
I think ranked versus unranked causes a bunch of other weird problems that are really hilarious. So like let's take Street Fighter 6 for example,
Yeah.
right? I've played unranked. It feels like shit. Like either I stomp someone out like they're a child and they might be a child, or someone in master rank makes me feel like a child. Like there's no in between.
There are in between sometimes, but you you never know, right? And in most cases, it's going to go hard one way or the other. And yeah, it's for me in my brain, it's like essentially like advanced practice mode, right? It's like, what if I want to just practice against a living opponent or whatever? But in the case of a game where you have to deal with the population and of a given mode, making sure that every if you could always find the right amount of people for every mode, for every playlist on everything, then offering more game modes should not present a problem.
So,
but that doesn't apply to most games. That does apply, I guess, to Call of Duty because it's central.
So I am not familiar enough with the statistics behind what's called ELO on this, but one of the more fascinating things about ranked multiplayer and the problems in it is I want to say it's silver in League of Legends is impossible to escape. Because you're dealing with 10 players, every individual skill level is like diminished in terms of the thing, but the only thing that matters is the win percentage. And like people of certain like higher skill levels can become trapped in what I'm seeing people call ELO hell, in which your skill level is not representative of your thing, but because the way the matchmaking is counting wins and losses, you become like literally trapped because bads can pull you down and keep you in the lower rank.
Because you're not playing a game where you are the sole determinant of your
you
outcome.
You are 20%.
Yeah, right.
Of the total determiner.
Also, I want to say there was an ELO system that had I think like Rising Thunder's initial ranking was using this, but it's like early on in, until it hones in on your exact level, you're going to literally switch between levels way beneath you and levels way above you. So you will alternate between getting stomped and curb stomping other people until it narrows it down to the middle. But you just get this wild up and down where you can predictably think, I'm going to win every second match and lose every third.
Yeah.
You know?
So what's interesting is that the gentleman who was behind the matchmaking priority system on Modern Warfare 2 way back in the day, the original Modern Warfare 2, put out some statements a couple months ago. I remember reading through them. I might get some small details wrong, but the basic thing is that he viewed part of the problem of this pushback against skill-based matchmaking is that he sees that skill-based matchmaking in the modern era tries too hard to hit a 50-50 win-loss utopia.
Right.
Like the 5-5 matchup.
Right.
And by doing that and really trying to push towards that, you end up in situations where you are being given a match. And if you win it, you are going to be followed up with a match you're going to lose.
Yeah, well, that's exactly.
And vice versa, right? And so that
it's very weird. I remember seeing that.
Is to actually like spread out the matchmaking nudging a little bit, because you should have blowouts in both direction now and then.
And when you lose that odd-numbered match that you were supposed to win, you feel double bad.
Yeah, and it tanks you.
Yeah, because it's like, wait a minute, that was way below your skill level. You were supposed to win that one. Yeah, right.
Well, like, hey, get this. I was playing Street Fighter, and I was playing Aki, and I didn't understand Aki at all. So I did my placement matches, and my placement matches put me in, like, the top of bronze.
Sure, yeah.
And then I played it for like an hour more. I'm like, oh, I think I understand Aki now. And boy, did I have a good time in silver. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah. And that's why they have the win streak bonus to get you the fuck out of silver and gold.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, okay, you stop now, get out. Because effectively, like, if these people are if these Call of Duty players are the equivalent of like, I'm gonna walk around the arcade and only look for the machines with little children on them, and go put my quarter in those machines.
Hell yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Yeah. So it is hilarious to just kind of like see this for what it is. Is just like, okay, you're being a huge baby. All right, got it. You don't actually want a challenge, and you don't want your skill to actually be tested. You don't want, the game to evolve.
DMs about that guy planning to do like the cancer ward Call of Duty lobbies against the sick children. I think the fact that even though that didn't even happen, like those matches didn't occur, that the fact that that would even go into someone's mind has like ruined this discussion forever, because you always think of it at some point when we're talking about this. Like, man, imagine if we could get matches on those cancer children's. The footage.
And the like, I paid, this is the way I want to play my game, etc. And again, you're teamed up, and like the fact that you have to play with other people for this, for League, for any games where you're joining a team, things I'm not used to that, and I don't know how you avoid again the jails that you're mentioning there. I don't know that, like,
there's a way to avoid elo hell. It requires a lot of work, a lot of time, and it requires a very significant specific life adjustment. Would you like to know how to escape elo hell?
Sure.
No, I'm serious. There's a dedicated way.
Life adjustment has got me concerned.
Okay, you say, hey, Pat, and I go, hey, what's up? You say, hey, Pat, me, Reggie, Min, and someone else are going to be spending Thursday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. playing League of Legends.
Yeah. You get serious.
You come in, and we will play our matches during this thing, and we will play that every single week. And that's how you get out of elo hell.
You get serious, yeah.
However, that is unattainable to like most people to get everyone together at the same time. Bro, I've been playing with my friends in F14 since 2015, and we've like lasered in on like Sunday afternoon for like 90 minutes. It's the one thing we can all manage.
But it is funny how this debate also lasers in on the inherent difficulty of like how bad it feels to lose at a fighting game versus I'm just jumping on for a couple games. I want to shoot some kids in the head and then go to bed. Like I'm logging in to yell at a bunch of kids and call it a day, and that feels good, and then I'm out. And it's hard to beat that proposition. You're offering someone a quick feel good before bed. And that's what they're looking for. They're not looking, like, the fun is not to be had in the fair match. You know what I mean? So, it comes with the genre. It's inherent when you have to carry your wins and losses.
Like this whole discussion ends up being, like a window into why Fortnite is so popular, because Fortnite gets to have huge matches, like 100 people, right? You don't have to do a whole lot of skill distribution to have a good distribution of 100 people. And like, yes, there's some bad fucking players in every single Fortnite match. If you're like a regular functioning human being that can shoot with double analog sticks, you can take out a couple people in a fucking Fortnite match. And like the wins that I had, like, well, I won, like, I won 50 times or whatever in the time that I was playing it. It's like, I am certain I was being loaded into games with 99 children.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Like 10-year-olds.
I mean, and the fact that they built a system for Gears of War and for, Fortnite to have, like, you get it juiced when you're starting out to feel better, or fighting against bots, is just a way of, like, it's like that proves that, we know what makes people feel good, and we're going to give that to you. To hook you in. When we were talking about when Rumbleverse started like losing players, and you're like, okay, the final circle is the only circle that matters. because that first one.
Yeah,
is
Rumbleverse did it too hard.
Right? You hit the
like
bots.
It was too apparent that like the first 10 people you ran into were robots that suck shit.
Especially once you enter into the next league up from the beginning one, you start to just encounter it way brutal. Because the population was just not there, and something had to give for a game that always requires this many people every time you start a matchup. There's something else that I was leading to that I forgot about that, but oh yeah, that's it. So for the person we're describing, that is like, I'm just here to get my quick curb stomp in before I go to bed and go to work tomorrow. That's what my $80 was for, and my skins and my battle pass is just for that. We know that like when you have a super fucking close, insanely tight match and you fucking edge it out,
you sweat it out.
Holy shit, your heart's beating. That was incredible. Oh my god, that's the best, right?
Now let me do another match so I can ruin that feeling.
well, it's like, is putting player A in that B case scenario, like, do they hate that outcome and or enjoy it less?
It depends on the individual personality.
Like is that personality type going to be like, I hate how close that match was. That was not exciting. It was just stressful. I just want my curb stomps.
So that it depends on individual personality. Like, right? Everybody has their own different preferences. If I was going to say like a single thing to everyone in the whole world about playing video games online, it is that there is a single thought that has caused me more anguish than anything else, which is, well, I can't go to bed until I win one. That is the most, oh my God. It is disastrous because you're only going to get worse and worse. And you're still going to go to bed on a loss.
Yeah. I had those moments. I stopped doing that. To myself. But I definitely used to have that, like, no, let's stick around until we end on a good note. And like, yeah, you're already going downhill. For me, that's where it's like, all right, time to watch some replays or fucking just, if you don't want to put it down just yet and you can't just turn it off and walk away and quit while you're ahead, then find some other activity to do, in the game.
There's so much like fascinating player psychology going on in literally every online interaction in a game. It's fascinating. Like, here's a somewhat related example. So FF14 put out a new expansion. So I am occasionally playing FF14 while watching the child. He is crawling around. He likes to play with his own toys, and he's happy, and I check on him, and I poke his belly and give him smooches. But, he's good to hang out, right? So I have a macro in FF14. I have a button I can press that says, when I start a instance dungeon, that says, hey, I am watching my baby right now. I may have to get up and chase after him for his safety. If I stop moving, I will be back in just a minute. Apology. Just like...
Okay, yeah.
99 times out of 100, I have been responded with, oh, yeah, there it is. I just saw someone do it. They say, okay. Then they say circle / for like, oh, yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah. Or people say, oh, no, I got 3 kids. I get it. Don't worry about it. However, I had one person respond with, geez, man, if you don't have time to play, you shouldn't even log in.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
And I'm still doing it. And like, sure enough, I had to go get the baby because he wandered over to an outlet. And I'm like, no, baby, you can't go towards the outlet.
Yeah.
And I stopped and he was bitching. And it's like, I play nearly exclusively a tank, and tanks are unpopular in Final Fantasy XIV. So if I had not queued into that dungeon, that guy could wait 20 minutes. I queue in instantly. It takes 20 minutes for him. So he can't leave. He's at my convenience there. Like, if I could drop out of that dungeon and queue immediately back in within seconds. And he would be fucked. He'd have to wait for another tank to queue in 15, 20 minutes. And it's like, shut up. Shut up, you nerd.
No, like that's a way of life. Like acting that way online is a way of life. It's a way of de-stressing. It's a way of coping with whatever the fuck that person's life is. It's just that. The complete lack of empathy there. Yeah. Yeah.
And on the other hand, I have to say that Street Fighter 6 players that live in Diamond are by and large way cooler than I would have ever expected. Because when I have been playing Street Fighter and I'm like, I have to get the baby or I've changed the baby or whatever. And it's like, whatever, some family thing happened. I'm just going to put the controller down. I'm going to get up. I'm going to just let you have the match. I don't care, whatever. Right. I come back to like them standing there waiting for me to come back.
Yeah. Hey. All right.
And like you do the wiggle. And the jab
What's
to be
going
like,
on?
I am back now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the match resumes. Now, I probably lost the round because they didn't realize and they just comboed me into shit.
Yeah. And then you go, hey, what's going on?
Maybe they hit me with a couple fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've walked back to like people standing there waiting or time overs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
We're not going to get on mic, or there's no emote system to be like, explain what's going on. But it's like, oh, well, you're standing still and the game didn't disconnect. Something's up. Sure.
Yeah, no, they had to walk away for some reason.
Sure. Yeah. It is interesting. Although it's funny because like while talking about all this, I remembered too that we have the data for a lot of this shit. I brought it up when I was talking about how like Keats brought all the full gamer breakdown shit. That it has the chart of over 2 million players like and their likes and dislikes, and one of the metrics was like, you know, wanting multiplayer and wanting to deal with the feeling of victory, but not wanting to encounter skill and not wanting to encounter challenge from other players as well as execution from yourself. And it's like that was the category difference between FPS players and fighting games and other similar types of things, you know? So yeah, there's a giant, what was it? It was Quantic Foundry, I believe. This huge collection of data to see exactly how many. There are people who will not enjoy a close fight with somebody of the same skill level. That'll be a bad feeling, and like how many more people feel that way versus those who do prefer that over the complete one-sided victory. You know,
we have a mention from Hatefish from a very old study. That dealt with player attitude and player skill. And the long and short of it, I'm going to paraphrase the abstract, is that the higher a person's skill level in any task, but particularly games, the less hostile they are to new people entering into that task, particularly women. Like misogynistic dickbag in your Call of Duty lobby, check his KD ratio at the end of the match. I bet it sucks.
Yeah, I imagine the type of person who's really good wants a new person to get into the thing and is very down and accommodating.
No, that's not what it is.
Really? Okay, what is it?
It's the lack of perceived threat from new entrants.
Interesting. Okay.
Low skill people have perceived threats from anyone entering into their space. And this is broadly applicable to almost everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Hostility to new types of people entering into your space is a form of insecurity.
Insecurity, I was about to say, because you are not secure in your ability to win. you are definitionally not secure. There is a chance this new person that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing will take the dub. Yeah, got it.
Like you can see this in academic circles, you can see this in professional circles. People at the top of the game aren't worried about shit. Why would they be? They're at the top.
You know what you're doing. You're not. Yeah. But anyone that walks in that might be a threat, Time to be a shit.
Might be a disruptor.
Damn.
Well, I'm in the spot that will be disrupted.
Uh-oh.
So, shit.
Life, everything. It's all a skill issue. It's 100% of it. That's incredible. Okay. Well, beyond that giant 25-page study, God bless. I'm glad that
It's
was
like an enormous study with a lot of detail, but the takeaways are really clear and simple, actually.
Yeah, like, no, I'm glad they put that public. You know, I'm glad that was like fully released in that way, because it's just super interesting. Right, yeah, no, took our gerbs, you know, all of that. Like, anyone you fear, anyone you're afraid of, like, show it. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Anyway, and then there was, yeah, a great, like, I feel as if Harada has now become the new, like, Twitter Kamiya account, where just like
Oh, he's way better at it than Kamiya was.
But like, people basically just like Americans and Westerners are just like tweeting at this account of this Japanese dev who's now retweeting people and just fucking clowning around, and you never know when you're gonna get some wild shit. Esteban got himself retweeted for having his mom wear a "Don't Ask Me for Shit" shirt.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like he's like, hey,
that is a great mom shirt.
It's a great mom shirt, and like, it's a picture of him giving it to his mom for her birthday, and like, she loved it. It was, you know,
that
like
is
good shit, Esteban. You know, way to get the fucking quote on that. And then yeah, someone was like, hey, make this happen, with a picture of after Heihachi in the battle pass and then the season of character announcements, Akira from Virtua Fighter. To which, of course, Heihachi has... yes, Heihachi.
Yeah, there you
Heihachi
go.
himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Replies, first they should announce VF6, then we can talk. You know?
Can I just point out, before we even laugh at Virtua Fighter 6, that Crusher / Jody Ingram, Akira is a terrible pick for the Virtua Fighter representative. Awful.
Nah, do this ridiculous input that no other Tekken character has in this game.
Get
your Tetsuzan
like
co-op.
The least interesting, most like input complex. It would be Sarah.
I could see it being Sarah. I could see it being Jackie, right? Poster characters, and they could get wild and go with like Jeffrey or Wolf or something like that if they wanted to really go out of there, go out of left field. But yeah, you know, Akuma is not Ryu and Geese is not Terry. Like, putting Akira in there certainly would not be the way to play it. I agree. Him saying that, though, you know, it's
Is this proof that VF6 just hasn't been announced yet?
No, it's just proof that he's willing to talk about the state of the affairs and where things are at. If, you know, a couple weeks ago, he had that giant Soul Calibur thread, right, where he broke down exactly why Soul Calibur, like, someone basically said, like, oh, Soul Calibur would exist today, like Tekken, if it had someone like you running the team back from the Soul Calibur 2 days, but all the changes they made mechanically and stuff led to the game's downfall in popularity, and that's why it's not around. And Harada was like, no, that's not what happened at all. And he wrote a giant article breaking down the history of Project Soul and Tekken Project, the two teams that were kind of rivals with each other, but the thing they had in common was they didn't really listen to Bandai Namco as a whole. They were kind of independent and just doing whatever they wanted. And effectively what leads to a game, and this is relevant for Virtua Fighter too, as well, for like something like that coming back. But he's like, what made those games successful from the jump was the fact that they had a team of really skilled developers and a person and a team lead in charge that was like very, like, had a very clear vision of what they wanted to do, was solid about like pushing that and resisting everything from the top down, you know, that would compromise that vision. And that because they both had those identities, him and the Soul Calibur developers, like, again, like, it wasn't actually heated, but it was definitely like an internal rivalry to beat each other, while both being like, fuck you higher up, so we're gonna make our game the best regardless of what you say. And then over time, while he held on to that team and like kept working with the series, Soul Calibur, the person who was in that role, left, and then a lot of the team ended up getting moved around or disbanded. So they just didn't have the ability to hold it together. And the whole time, both teams were like that. The top-down Bandai execs were like, they hated those teams, and they hated the fact that they wouldn't listen, even if the shit they were making was great, and even if the IP was continuing to be successful and stuff. They were like, we want you to not, we don't want to have to fight with you over creative decisions and over money decisions and all that shit, you know? So if they don't have someone in charge to resist, then the disbanding is going to happen because they're going to pull people apart and gut it as soon as they can. You know,
and management. The long and short of management.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So he resisted, and that's why Tekken continues to be what it is today. Soul Calibur couldn't after the lead left, and so now its guts are splayed everywhere. And he's like, there still are people that could get together, that care enough, that have the skill to do it, but they'd have to unite at the company and make a concerted effort, which is hard to do when management is actively trying to stop that from happening. You know, and yeah, it reminds me of just like any time you hear something about, hey, don't get too excited about any patches to this game. We don't want people to think something's coming. You know, you get that, you get something like at Virtua Fighter where it's like, okay, if you don't have the people and you don't have someone in charge to be like, okay, fuck whatever they say. If we get the green light to do this, we're just going to push ahead regardless because we know what we're going to deliver. And you can like dance the dance that is effectively until the publishers show up at your door and burn it down, you know, to stop you. You're going to do whatever it takes to make the game good according to what you and your team know you can put out. You know,
you know who you should listen to in times like this? Everyone working everywhere. You should listen to the advice of one of the best directors ever, one Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Yes. There you go.
Who, when he was making Blazing Saddles, the producer above him at the studio came in and said, I don't like that Gene Wilder. I don't think he's a good fit. You should get rid of him. And he said, absolutely. He's gone tomorrow. And then just didn't do fucking anything. And every single time someone came to him and told him what to do, he's like, no problem, sir. Right on it. And then just fucking did whatever. And then the movie would be done before they realized anything. And he'd be like, well, too late.
Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. This is the part where I also follow up with the Walking Dead comic book story where, Kirkman pitched it as a series that was about people that were going through the struggles of a post-apocalyptic zombie world. And it would be interesting. And they're like, and then what? That doesn't sound interesting at all. He's like, and then it turns out it was aliens. And then they come down in one of the later books, and it becomes this whole crazy war that fights across space, and the zombies are just phase one of this invasion. Like, oh, that's sick. Okay, let's go. Green light. 9 books later, hey, when are those aliens showing up? Oh, they're not. God damn it.
People are pointing out in the chat that Hidetaka Miyazaki of Demon's Souls and onwards did the same thing.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Where they're like, hey, can you make an Oblivion clone? Like, that's what Demon's Souls is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a clone of Oblivion because Oblivion was blowing up on the Xbox, and Sony was like, From Software, can you make a clone of Oblivion, like an Oblivion style game? And he went, oh, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they made Demon's Souls, and that's one of the reasons why, if you look back at Shuhei Yoshida, Shuhei Yoshida was like, and he like really didn't like Demon's Souls and thought it was dog shit and wouldn't put it out in the States. The reason why he felt that way was because that guy asked for make me an Oblivion.
They didn't listen.
They put Demon's Souls on his fucking desk.
Yeah. There you go.
And he's like, what the fuck is this?
Oh man, it's the follow-up conversations that I want to be a fly on the wall for, right? It's like, hey, so when are those aliens gonna show up? Like, oh yeah, they're coming. We're building it up. Like, oh okay, you know, and then just that third and fourth and eventual just, so there are none, are there? Like, nah, there isn't. Hey, how those sales doing? You liking those numbers? All right, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of my office. Don't let the door slam your ass on the way out. Like, uh-oh, it was successful. You idiot. Now what? You have to hold your fucking ego I'll behind your ass on that one because you demanded something else. They didn't listen, and the thing they didn't listen to you on turned out to be a huge success.
There's a point in every discussion about what the thing you're making is going to be, in which you have to keep in the back of your head what is and is not in writing.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Just make sure that all the important bits about what you want to make are verbal agreements, and just ignore them.
And somewhere in there is the other tech that is the South Park tech, right? Of just like making a bunch of shit that just goes so far and beyond, so that when the cuts come, you actually just stick it to the level that you were expecting the joke to be at, because you plan to have shit get cut out, and then always reference the Austin Powers coffee bit, because anytime any censor wants anything removed from whatever you're making, it's like Austin Powers sipped a mug of diarrhea, and that was a PG movie. Like anything less than that should be okay. Yeah. Anyways, speaking
that
of,
did happen. That you're not. Yeah. No. That.
Anytime a censor is like, hey, that's too far, it's like, yeah, well, what about fucking this movie that children went to go watch? And the mug says diarrhea on the mug, and he goes,
Well, children can't read, so.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of listening to outside opinions, last but not least here.
Stop. Don't.
Okay, but what if they're holding shares?
Wow, you should extra not listen to those stupid motherfuckers.
You want to talk about lying and moving on and going, yes, sir, right away, sir, it's done, sir. And then just going on about your way, hang up the call, and then just sit there. Yeah, I mean, God bless, right?
Wouldn't Monster Hunter Wild be way more money if you put it out in like a month?
Just release Wilds earlier, bro. Just put it on the Switch, dude. Just do it.
You'll make so much more money if you do it now. And then the statement from the Capcom guy is like, we're focused on making it good.
But hold on. You know how you're planning to release it like next year? Yeah. Wouldn't you make more money if you released it now?
No, actually. That
why?
isn't an acceptable answer because they'll never understand.
I want the concept of like time and space on a fucking graph, on a chart, like pointing to it, because we are moving in time, and things occur on timelines because some things are and some things are not. Yeah, it's kind of I mean, it's hilarious, it's embarrassing, but it's also nostalgic that we're hearing that Capcom is putting up with these kinds of investor questions, which is what the story is, by the way. Just an embarrassingly stupid one. It reminds of it's the time of Iwata, right? It's that era of Iwata at the Nintendo investor meetings, just fielding that shit and finding a polite way to be like, oh dear God, just shut the fuck up. Thank you for your investment. Please leave. You know?
I love how so many of the responses are like, instead of being like, no, that's stupid, it's no, that's stupid. Like it's the same
cadence.
thing, just in a like
we
a
are
nice
focused.
voice.
Yeah, please. We are focused on the quality and delivering a thing that, you know, will not be a piece of shit, because the reason why you showed up here is because the quality that people liked led to the thing being this popular in the first place. So that's why you're here. Yes, thank you.
Well, you see, that might cause short-term gains for this quarter, but it'd be bad for next quarter, says the man to someone getting ready to sell his shares at the end of this quarter.
And you're now facing the reality of the situation, which is the person is like barely half listening on the call, and it's essentially the difference between investing in this or investing in fucking weed farms or throwing it all into crypto, whatever the case may be. It's all the same.
Yeah, well, that crypto shit's working out great for everybody.
Fantastic, I'm sure. But that's perhaps the reason behind the call, because he's looking at how the results are on one side and going, oh shit, I got to make up for these losses, and I got to make up for them in December. Hey, yo, when's this monster fuck what coming out? Hurry it, you know, because it's like, this is where your shit is, and this is where you know. It's you're literally like you're playing it like a stock. It doesn't matter what you're investing in. Someone said, "Oh, go dump it in this," and you're like, "Okay, I don't understand anything about any of this. I have no fucks given." And like, I mean, whenever we talked about this, like when it came to the entire like concept of how publicly traded open shit is just fucked from the jump, no matter what. In this case, but it sucks a bit less if you're dealing with people who are throwing the money in and then just shut the fuck up then. It's like at the very least, it's like, okay, they might grab it and sell it and jump off at any point or whatever. You can't predict what's going to happen there, but you don't have to deal with this inane, complete nonsense bullshit that is just clearly indicative of like, you have to make these people happy while also continuing to make something that is good. And literally how, especially if you have these types of people that have larger and larger controlling amounts, where suddenly that stupid question, you don't just be like, that's stupid, but it's like, how do you, what is the politeness in your voice to somebody who's holding 49%? You know what I mean? Like, hey, wow, like how much flour can you put behind it? Like I don't know, but it feels like a hopeless fucking cause.
I have no way to segue to this, so I'm gonna jump into it. Speaking of companies that got to retain control over themselves, Larian, and how they've attributed a huge proportion of Baldur's Gate's success to the fact that they just got to do whatever the fuck they wanted.
And Tencent had a quiet third.
So patch 7, people were digging around in like the beta for it, and they found bits and pieces of companion dialogue and code for Alfira the Bard, where she would actually has mechanics for joining the party somehow.
What's that?
Alfira the Bard from the Druid's Grove.
Oh, the character. Okay. Was supposed to be.
No.
Sorry, I don't. What I don't understand. What's the implication of what you're saying?
People digging around in the closed beta of the new patch have found new bits attached to that character, new stuff attached to her.
Okay.
Where that is there for companions and characters in fights and shit.
So new relationships are going to be added
so it's possible that even in a limited form, Alfira will be able to join the party.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow. Going back to mod old stuff even after you're past this point, that's crazy. Good shit.
Well, they've also had the mod kit's coming out for Baldur's Gate, which will allow you to just go into the game and just download mod that will just work. So soon people will be able to play as new races or like have the no party limit mod with a click of a button. Like, I'd like to play the game with an officially supported no party limit mod. That would be cool.
Are these things like, so they had the big patch the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they? I was like, yeah. Do these things get saved up for like the next big patch, or do they just sprinkle it over?
Oh no, the next patch is patch 7. So the general distinction is patches are huge amounts of content and general reworking, and hot fixes are we fixed this crash.
Hot fixes, right?
We fixed this bug.
Okay.
So like patch 7 in September is going to have all that, but then they're also going to be like, oh, by the way, Dark Urge has more story.
Sick.
And there's more endings for all the evil playthroughs. And Gale will you can now feed Gale any item from anywhere on any character when you talk to him. You don't have to go and get it.
That conversation about just make it like Baldur's Gate 3 is becoming more and more impossible as time goes on.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like it's becoming the most insane, distant fucking pie in the sky goal that just can never be reached. Boy, wow. Okay.
They are saying that this patch is the last one. I don't know if I believe that. But they are putting out an integrated mod browser, so people will be able to continue to patch it for them. And they will.
Wow.
There's going to be an unofficial bug fix mod in that goddamn browser on the first day that will be updated every day of the rest of our lives.
Hey, Baldur's Gate player, how many restarts do you have in your soul?
Me and Paige haven't beaten the game. I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, we're going to have to restart again?
How many restarts, player? How many restarts in your soul? What's the number? Oh, my God. Jesus. I know my number. It's very low.
It's probably 1.
It's for every game I play. It's extremely low. Yes. Let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, that'd be, first of all, don't send it via real mail. Send it via email and send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. You might sound like this.
Sorry, I was trying to remember where recently I heard someone was describing the process of like planning to play a game and then stopping it after a certain amount of time and then being like, okay, well, now that I'm coming back to it after a month, I guess it's been long enough that I might as well just start again from scratch because whatever, I want to keep it fresh and I want to keep that feeling fresh.
Yeah,
so,
right.
what's the point of just even trying to pick up where we left off? So then you start again. And just that, I'm just like...
that loop
that I can't, I just don't feel, I just don't have, I don't know. I do have that. I do have the feeling of like, God damn it, it's been too long. This doesn't feel fresh anymore. But like, I have so much aversion to the feeling of losing what I've gained because of the things I've lost in the past.
Well, see, here's the thing. The reason why this is so powerful for Baldur's Gate is that you're like, well, I'll just do it different.
Yeah, I guess so. Right. That's a big thing. Yeah, like a Souls game. Yeah, you run it differently this time. But I have so much loss aversion baked into my soul because of my past, because of my brother and that formatting moment, and because of FF7 and because of Mugen and because of all these things that I just hate. I hate that so much, and I just like nope. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose where I am. I hate that. Feels bad, and it also feels like it takes me way longer my first time through because I play things in a way where I like to, I like to smell the roses.
Oh, dude, I can fly through Act 1 of Baldur's Gate 3 right now. Be my 5th time through it.
Yeah.
Underdark in 10 minutes. Let's go. Yeah, you could do Underdark in 10 minutes. Absolutely. Yeah.
I wouldn't classify this as a goblin. I wouldn't.
No, it's not.
Not wanting to lose progress.
No, wanting to restart is the goblin.
Yeah, like don't fucking twist this shit into some weird. Like fuck off with that. Like come on.
No. You got plenty to point at and laugh with than this.
castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. We got one coming in over here from
Gary Newman. Just got a DMCA notice for Skibbity Toilet.
I heard there's a movie coming.
Skibbity Toilet says you're using my assets in Gary's mod.
Wow.
I hope that goes to court.
Good luck. I hope
that goes to court.
I hope they can sort that out before they start filming, because Michael Bay is working on a treatment of the script for Skibbity Toilet. Anyway, we got one from Haha I Died Again. It says, hey, Willie and Pat, I had a question for Pat. With the recent puzzle game talk, I know Pat's a fan of Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. Did you enjoy the puzzle gameplay in Ghost Trick, or was it the story that pulled you through? I ask because I have a friend who loves Ace Attorney, but doesn't want to play Ghost Trick because it's a puzzle game. While I love the gameplay, I worry that it may turn him off from the game's excellent story, or giving it a proper shake. Is good writing enough to get you through a genre you don't enjoy? Is also this mainly just an excuse to get Ghost Trick talk on the podcast? Go buy Ghost Trick. Remastered versions are on your phones right now.
Okay, so I loved Ghost Trick. I think Ghost Trick is amazing top to bottom, and part of the reason why I really like Ghost Trick is that the puzzles are visually interesting the whole way around. So because of what you're doing in Ghost Trick, where you're manipulating objects in a scene to see them do silly things, the first time you click an object in Ghost Trick, you have no idea what it'll do, and it's kind of a little surprise as to what interacting with this bicycle is going to do, or this telephone. It's fascinating. That game is just amazing top to bottom. It doesn't have anything where I'm trying to figure out the puzzle solution that Jerry over at Sierra just bullshitted out of his ass. It's me poking at different pieces of a scene and going, oh, how do these interact? And then like naturally coming to a conclusion.
If I can jump in on my perspective, I love a good puzzle game, and I think that if the base system is particularly fun, I can hang in there for a while, as we discussed with like the difference between the story and the actual gameplay of like The Witness, for example. I managed to enjoy that for a lot longer, but than you were able to manage it. But I see the tap out point. But I think an example of this going the other way is like Catherine, where that's a fun puzzle game, but the world story and setting keep you locked the fuck in the entire time. You know what? Hard.
I have Catherine just like completed the thought in my mind, which is, you know what a huge proportion of my interest in a puzzle game is its naturalistic incorporation of its puzzles into its world. You know what Catherine is not? Well integrated. There's the story, and then there's the block shit that I don't like.
Why is he climbing the blocks for the plot? What does that mean?
When I played the Talos Principle, there's the story, and then there's the portal style rooms that are there to be puzzles.
Yeah, the big demons trying to kill you as you climb the tower is not the most logical representation of tension in your relationship, but it still is fun to do, and the actual story playing out is great, and it plays out in a way that feels very different from a lot of shit. I really like it.
So that's where it falls apart. So like I think of Outer Wilds. Right, Outer Wilds is a game in which everything it's a puzzle game, and everything is perfectly integrated into its own like thing, in which like solving puzzles comes down to understanding the world that you're inhabiting. And Catherine is about playing this fucking block game. I have never played a block game arguing with my wife. Those have nothing to do with one another. There's no integration of the theme at all.
Yeah, but when you get close and you hang up and you go around the edge and then you drop a block and
I don't give a shit. I don't like it.
It's fun. It's super fun to do. It's
that's a subjective opinion.
It's great.
It's not fun.
I don't know what the storyline in Baba Is You is, but learning...
There's a story?
Well, Baba meets Kiki and they make friends. And but the process of learning to code effectively was great. It was fun. It was great. And then Mobile Suit Baba actually does have a story that you can go play for that matter. But yes, no, I think Catherine's a great example of this. Like, yeah, they don't integrate the best into that world, and like, yeah, certainly if you're like, you know, dealing with well, I don't think Phoenix Wright is the best example here, but it's something where the puzzle and the type of puzzle, the reason why you're solving it, fits into the.
I would say the only thing that I can think of right this second that integrates it really well is Ghost Trick, because Phoenix Wright is like. Come on.
But like that integration, it does matter less if you enjoy the genre, you know? Like if you like what you're getting here, and then this story part of it is also pretty fun here, and then like they integrate them together. Sometimes the integration will work better than others, but if you still like both parts, then you're winning on both sides.
Yeah, and here's where it matters is that integration is vitally important if you hate the genre.
I guess because
I hate puzzle games. Because I think they suck and they make me feel dumb.
I'd be very down for the Persona team take on like adult relationships and then game playing some tic-tac-toe and Sudoku. Fuck it, I want to see that. I'm fine, you know. Although Sudoku being the 999.
Oh man, people are asking. Hey, Willie, what are your thoughts on Professor Layton?
I haven't touched Layton.
Okay, because like I played Layton and I was like, it's just an excuse to do little puzzles. Like it's the least integrated thing in the world, right? It's like, oh, I'd like to ask you a question. They're like, first figure out how to get this cabbage and the scorpion across the river. right?
Do you enjoy the like Ghibli light fantasy?
Oh, I did.
setting?
I enjoyed the tone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's about, you can go in a lot of places and pick how many puzzles you want to do. And you don't have to do all of them, and you don't have to get the best solution to all of them. And then I played it for 2 or 3 hours, and I got to a slide puzzle with the blocks, and I couldn't do it, and I got so mad that I've never played a Layton game ever again. And I was like, those games are stupid,
man,
making me feel dumb.
Damn,
I hate them.
I was over at the community center getting into fucking Tetris Attack back in the day, which is like fucking versus puzzling, and then from that into like the puzzle mode where it's actually take all the time you want, but you have a limited number of moves. And yeah, I enjoy that shit. I don't know. It is.
Puzzle games should make you feel smart. They shouldn't make Pet feel dumb.
Oh, skill-based matchmaking in puzzle games, then, shall we?
Right.
That's
right.
And so we come full circle.
When I play a puzzle game, I want it to pat me on the ass and be like, "Wow, you're so smart. Good job."
Wow, you need to be able to stream and make it look like you're stomping these puzzles out and winning, and everybody's clapping for you because you're 100%. The smartest, the strongest, and best. Okay, I get it. Let's get the fucking 25-page document out on this one.
You're so smart for knowing this puzzle. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Did you not just get a book of paper like fucking crosswords and puzzles as a kid to fill out? And
oh yeah, no, I blew through them super easy.
Yeah, little puzzles. Puzzles are fun.
Puzzles are meant to be solved in 5 seconds, and if you can't solve them immediately, that means you're stupid and you should feel bad.
Well, when you get
that mentality is why I don't like puzzle games.
But the back half of the book got harder.
No, it didn't.
Well, it depends on which book, I suppose, but sometimes that shit ramped up. And you're like, oh shit, this one's taking some time. I can't find these words. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're implying there. Or if you're doing one of those crosswords and you gotta fucking up your vocabulary a little bit,
I literally never had that problem ever.
Okay.
This is part of the problem. You are literally describing the creation of the problem attitude.
You stopped playing before you hit any kind of wall.
I was like, this is boring. And then I would go and play Professor Brain's fucking castle. And then I would get super far, and then I would get to the programming fucking puzzle with the cheese, and then I would fail it, and I'd be like, "This sucks."
But wait, didn't we both talk about The Incredible Machine? Didn't you also play?
No, I've never played The Incredible
You didn't play Okay, so you never played because that's the case of like starts real easy, get the fucking ball in the goal, and like you basically like mousetrap your solutions.
We just talked about it like last week, but there's not that many people who played it. But like flying through 999,
yeah,
only to discover that I'm really bad at Sudoku.
Yeah,
like just sucked all the air out of that game. I still love it. I think it's incredible, but like, woof.
I mean,
it's
just, it was right. Okay, time to learn Sudoku. That's all that is. It's, not that big a deal. But The Incredible Machine is a really awesome old series that was like a perfect example of you're going to slowly but surely hit that wall of like, I have to think brain different. How? Almost like the Baba ramp up, but at a slower pace, It was great. Yeah, you need to hit these challenges to enjoy, I suppose. Man, anyway, I don't know what the last placemat at a restaurant you filled out the puzzle challenge was, but yeah, they're a fun genre. They're good.
No, they changed that puzzle. Oh, they would have. The 999 puzzle got changed in the remaster.
To what?
I don't know, but like it used the 3DS. It used the DS's screens, right? So it had to get changed.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna go look that up.
Or yes, just the fucking McDonald's toy slide puzzle. Right. So. Anyway, all right.
You know what? I think my dog actually has something to say about these puzzles. So we got an enrichment board for Zangief, and it is a sliding puzzle. Like a proper slide table puzzle.
Interesting.
And what you do is you hide treats underneath the slides. So the dog has to figure out how to slide them around to get the treats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the dog spent about 90 minutes and he figured it out. He did it and he got every treat in it.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that's great. And he was exhausted because he used his brain.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then the next day I gave it to him again and he flipped it over and tore all the fucking slides out.
Oh, wow.
And it's like he had the legitimately better solution.
Yeah, that's nature right there. Get this shit the fuck out of my face, you stupid bitch. How dare you? I want my treats, asshole. Nah, bro. Nah, not today, son. That's fantastic. Oh, shit. All right. Good stuff. All right, last one over here coming in from Duncan. Wooly and Pat, with the Fortnite Cybertruck and car design from talk from last week, I'm curious. Thought it would be interesting to hear what you think about something entirely unrelated to video games. I'm imagining Wooly playing cool uncle pulling up in a Ferrari Testarossa or something next to Pat's Dadmobile minivan. What is your dream car? So, talking about the whole, like, you know, aerodynamic shit or whatever from last time, Asna showed me a couple cool. I saw a couple cool car designs from stuff that was in Cyberpunk that I'm like, oh, those are some cool cars that look a little unusual, but are still kind of within the aerodynamic thing, but they have other fun stuff going on with it. Yeah, you know, don't gotta sacrifice the solution of what is aerodynamic to get something interesting or cool. Do you have a potential, just whatever dream car that comes to mind as
so me and
Paige
share a mutual like of old vans.
Okay. Like mystery wagon style?
Mystery wagon shit.
Okay, so if you crash from the front, you're sandwiched, your pizza.
Yeah, but no, the actual thought is like you could jam a bunch of babies and pets in there.
Okay.
And also it looks cool.
Okay.
In fact, you could fit a whole Scooby gang in there.
You definitely could.
Someone says like kidnapper vans. My dad, when I was a kid, had a rape van.
Jesus Christ.
He had a plain white contractor
with
van.
No windows?
Nothing.
Oh. Oh, no.
It was so cool.
No. Don't do that. Don't pull up to the neighborhood. That's very bad.
Well, he did electrician's shit and contract work, so he had the van to store all his tools in.
And there was a logo on the side?
No, there was nothing. There was nothing.
Or some
It predates that van being a nightmare. Because this was like 90.
No,
like
that van
89.
was always a nightmare. In some cases, it was a nightmare with a little satellite sound recorder on top. And in some cases, it was just the nightmare as you described. It was always a nightmare going back 70s, 60s, fucking.
that van was cool as fuck.
You know, whether it is children or political disruption coming out of the back of that van, bad, all bad. Don't do it. Anyways, yeah, you can have that. I'm gonna go with if money is no object and fuck it, just get whatever you want. I think the Bentley Continental Flying Spur is a pretty cool looking car.
All right, let's take a look at this.
With an awesome exterior and interior. It's very pretty and cool. It's also it's got the good numbers. And yeah, it's ridiculously.
Oh, that's very simple.
It's a cool car. It's like stupid gorillion dollars, but shit's rad. And I think I kind of was like, you know, after having you know, as a kid, you're like, oh, there's a fucking Dodge Viper, and then there's the Cadillac, and all the cool sports cars and little Italian, you know, Ferraris and all that stuff that you play in the video games and stuff. And I also, again, I like motorcycles, you know, more and more.
I used to like Lamborghinis, and then I paid attention to the type of guy that walked out the door of every Lamborghini I've ever seen in my life.
Sure. And then that's that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, for something that doesn't look like one of those, and I saw this car on Top Gear, and it was a pretty good episode, and I was like, that's a fucking cool one. I think if I ever was able to get something impossible, that would be it. Cool.
What kind of motorcycle would you get, or is there too many horses around?
So yeah, motorcycle wise,
you should get a Mustang.
Hey, mom. Yeah, there you go. No, for motorcycles, again, I don't want the little ninja bikes with CCs to kill. I don't want my you will not survive contact with a horse motorcycle. I'm more interested in the larger touring cycles. So
you want the horse to also get it?
Yes, mutually assured destruction is my desire with inevitable horse impact. Probably like a Kawasaki Versus is it's like a pretty cool for a touring cycle, and it's less my style. But there's a Harley Davidson Ultra Limited. It's just kind of like a big fucking, like, not really a hog, but you know, it's like just like a nice, you can fucking pack up everything you need and go riding cross country on one of those. I think those are two cool motorcycles. I'd be down. And the first one is called the Versus, so it could even be slightly on brand.
Ooh,
with a Y though. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Where does the Versus go in the with a Y?
Versys. Versus. I didn't fucking name it, but yeah, it's close enough. Anyway, yeah, that would be my pick.
Good email.
Sure. Or if you want to go maximum hipster points, you can get a fucking 40s motorcycle with a sidecar, like straight out of the war. and then you do.
Is that hipster?
Yeah, because it showed up in Garden State. You know, the Zach Braff hipster vehicle with all the really good music.
Because I think those are cool. I think I could be a good sidecar gremlin.
Oh, I thought they were really cool too. But then I remember I saw that in that movie, which is also a hipster movie that I like, and it had with a really good soundtrack. And I was like, oh shit, they're doing the hipster bike in the hipster movie. Okay.
Man, the amount of damage caused to the world by Garden State is just unrecordable.
I love it. I love every second of it. Let's go frou. You know. Fuck getting on that plane, man. Why? Let's just live now in the moment.
Oh my god.
And then Zach Braff and Natalie Portman then argue though, because it's like, yeah, it's cool that you have that motorcycle with the sidecar, but it's the bitch car. Who's gonna get in the bitch car? I'm not getting in the bitch car.
I am unreasonably pissed off by the fucking front of the DVD of Garden State having both of them sit on the motorcycle portion.
Yes. Because
that is enraged. That is outrageous.
Because only the bitch goes in the bitch cart, and she doesn't want to do that. So then they're like, okay, we'll both sit on the motorcycle then.
Oh my god! Is that the movie that like codified the manic pixie dream girl?
It probably isn't, but I'm sure it leans into that list heavily. It didn't start it, but it definitely is on the list. Yeah, and I guess you could put your dog in the sidecars and put in with the goggles and the little.
Okay, so
the
Zangief
Sky Captain hat
and Bulldogs are incredible truck and sidecar dogs.
Nice.
They sit in the chair and they look out the window and they look like fat dudes, and they're good for it.
Man. I watched Garden State on a Sunday morning, and then I was like, that was great. And then I got up, and I went to Zeller's, and I bought it on DVD.
And then on the way there, you picked up a pair of glasses and poked the glass out.
No. And I got the soundtrack from HMV, and I listened to that soundtrack, and I still fucking think it's a great soundtrack, and I will die on this hill. Fuck it. There we go. All right. That'll do.
die on the hill of fucking Garden State?
I will die on the hill that is Garden State. Absolutely. That movie fucks. It rules.
Good,
I
then
love it.
Die.